Come on, come on, come on, come on. Sing it with me. Come on, come on, come on. SBE, SBE. I've been in the Manosphere for a long, long time, but nobody watches me. SBE, SBE. My contents are born, my pussy is sore, so I created SBE. Sit right back, let me tell you a tale about a group of weak men going straight to hell. I'm talking about them PhDs, make the ghost of Booker T go weak at the knees. And you all know who I hate the best. It goes by the name of VGS. They're making me sick, it's plain to see. Now come on everybody, won't you sing with me? SBE, SBE. I've been in the Manosphere for a long, long time, but nobody watches me. SBE, SBE. My contents are born, my pussy is sore, so I created SBE.
Yo, check 1 2 1 2. What's good, everybody, man? I'm GG, man. You tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, and no chases, man. Before I get things started, man, I want to give an extra special shout out to all you haters out there, man. Shout out to the haters, man. You know, I know y'all out there lurking and, you know, just waiting to say something, man, you know, because a lot of you guys can't do shit but talk shit. So, you know, it is what it is. Shout out to the haters out there, man. If you're just not getting in, man, make sure you like the video, man. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification button so you can stay on top of what's going on the Green Gorilla channel. And as I always do, I'd like to shout out all of the members of the Green Gorilla channel, all the people who support me and help me to keep things going. So let's begin that process, man. Shout out to Sun Ra 44, man. Big up to him. He just now joined the channel, man. Big up to him, man. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Barnolas, No Sleep, BGS Ibmore, Jastek, F4L, Andre 416. Shout out to him. He just joined. Shout out to Mantis on Break. Lock Vegas 05, he just joined. Shout out to him. Brimrock, Brotherly Love, Damian H, he just joined. Shout out to Passport OG, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Rasheed Barnes, Blacksword 404, DF. Shout out to Rais Morjeed, Ben Cannon, Kenton, Sherlin Woe, Leon 08, Artisan MC, Dub Will, Mr. Good Dad, Dar, Third Coast X, and Roderick Jackson. Big up to all of them. Big up to Michael Ross, 63rd Samurai, Divine Love Ridge, Ishmael Samad, The Watcher, Hostile Adept, The Ruthless, Heartless Revelator, Kill the Game, Dr. Thunder, Jason Hales, and Charles Finney. Big up. Big up to Interesting Thought, It's Always Jermaine, Naomi Gary, J. Cleveland Green, The Toxic Masculinist, Pulpit 28, Larry R., Seth Son, Afro Truth TV, Show Me in Spain Man. Big up. Big up to Seven Coast Dojo, Anthony Davis, I'm Just Jules, An Honest Look, Ricky Dawson, Stefan, True 7360, Mr. Me Too, Call for President, Gold Professor, and AKs and Curtains. Big up. Big up to H-Town, Rogish the Billmonger, Adrian Thomas, Electrician 480, Binga, Cutting Up with the Jones, Zanko 1, D. Scott, Path Guy, Pete Rock, and Aaron Peters. Big up. Big up to Vince Lindsay, Quiz the Poet, Black Wizard 80OS, Shadow Observer, Troy Warren, Mrs. KP Bailey, Alan Wiley, The Face, Life of Commerce, AI Apostle, and Timothy Blewett. Big up. Big up to Jeffrey Speed, Marvin Battle Jr., Adam, Ignatz Mouse, Dr. Tree 33, 77 Base X, Brian McMurray, Karen S., Charles Rogers, and Rick Ross. Big up. Big up to Sandra Jean, Charles Gilmore, Greg, Barry Little, Mr. Valentino, Cameron 87, Dr. Rock, and Mark Swift. Big up. Shout out to Odd Collar, Donald Watts, Coach Hotep, Old Soul Chief, Mr. Blue Collar, TD Hip Hop Media, Drumaine, Mr. Heat, Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, Aaron Smith, DH, A-Double, Kalanja Collar, and W. Pierre 1. Can't forget David Carroll, Force Windu, and Kevin Samuels. Big up, man. On the Patreon side, I'd like to give a shout out to Robert Wicks, Shine Language, Chris Flowers, Christopher Burton, Daxby the Tetrahedron, J Live, Rashawn Phillips Sorrells, Keith Bass, Nick, Albert C., Dr. Ben Vincent, I'm the Light of My Father, Waffle Weave, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Presuer Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi, Momal, and Asangwa. Big up to all them, man. Big up to all y'all, man. Thank you so much for supporting the Green Gorilla channel, man. You deserve a round of applause. I know, you don't have to support me, but you do, man. And I appreciate each and every one of you who do, man. Real talk. And if you would like to support Green Gorilla, GG, here's how you do it, man. And I'll be right back. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. The place where black men can express themselves freely. Straight up, no chaser. Today I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. All right, man, we're back. I'm GG. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chasers. And again, thank you for all of the support that you give me, all the people who subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it. All the people on Patreon who subscribe, and all the people on YouTube who subscribe and become members and shit like that. I appreciate all of y'all, man. I do, really and truly. So I also want to shout out all the people out there in the chat. So shout out to Sunrise, and thank you again for becoming a member of the Green Gorilla channel. I appreciate it. Shout out to Herb Saint from the NOLA. Shout out, man. What's going on with you? Shout out to W. He says, what is going on? Who is SBE? Well, I mean, quite frankly, SBE is, quite frankly, an acronym for shame, blame, and explain. And ultimately, it's a way of shaming men for shaming, blaming, and explaining things to women. So it's a way to tell men to stop crying, to shut up, to be quiet, and ultimately sit on your hands and don't say anything, because what you're saying makes you less than manly. It turns you into a beta or something like that. Whatever the fuck, man. So to me, it's anytime people start talking about alpha talk, about who's a real man, who's not a real man, I start to look at that shit as suspicious. I don't need a motherfucker to confirm my manhood or to deny it. Like, I'm secure in my own manhood. I don't need another motherfucker dictating or telling me whether or not I meet the manhood standard. Fuck that bullshit. And anybody on that bullshit, man, be weary of somebody talking about how much of a fucking man they are. Because if you're a man, like, why do you need confirmation? Why do you need to announce or tell people that you're a man? Like, who gives a fuck? Care not. So anyway, Adric Hapoy, shout out to him, man. Big up. High Scholar, shout out to him. Shout out to Joe's. Chef's Mike's Roundtable. Black in the Day, shout out to him. Love and respect, he says. Love and respect. Love and respect, men. Charles Finney says. Very Little, shout out to him. Black in the Day, again, Passport OG, shout out to him. Rogish the Billmonger, I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Shout out to you, bro. Peace out. How you doing, man? Vector 313 says, what is the stream about? We're gonna get to that in a minute, man. I'm gonna get right to it. The Dusty Pookie says, he gives me a little money. I don't know what that currency is, but shout out for the buck. Appreciate that. Michael Ross, shout out to him. He says, I'm confused. It says GG is live right now on the stream with BGS. I mean, look, man, BGS is somebody who I fuck with, you know what I'm saying? If he got something going on, if he broadcasting it double on his shit, it's all to the good. I'm listening. Shout out to him. Ignat's Mouse, shout out to him. Herb Saint, again. Shout out for the little Dust, man, from Death Before Dishonor. Shout out to him. Appreciate that. Shout out to Ad Media. Shout out to Jerome. Shout out to Lithium. Stop whining, black men equals SBE. Well-off people like AM1 tell people to alpha their way through it. Can't solve trauma and overcome it without learning. You've been traumatized, stupid. In other words, just be quiet. Don't say shit. Like if you have any pain or any trauma or anything, just don't really say anything about it, because that's weak and non-productive or some bullshit like that. This is how these guys operate, man. Shout out to Artisan. Shout out to him. Ebony Knight, salute to her. King Kazian, shout out. Cynical Optimist. I mean, so many people out there, man. If I keep going down the list, man, I might be taking all day. But shout out to Artisan MC, man. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, big bro. Straight up. But anyway, man, look, I just want to say this before I even get started, man. This is one thing you have to be aware of, okay? One thing you got to be aware of, and this is something that Denzel Washington said, man. Peep it, man.
Small minds discuss other people. Gossip. Good minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas.
Let me play that one more time in case you missed it, man. Pay attention.
Small minds discuss other people.
Small minds discuss other people, man. Small minds, bro. Small minds discuss other people, man. Average minds, good minds, talk about events. Excellent minds talk about ideas, man. Or something to that effect. This is why typically, if you look at the streams that I put out there, man, I'm not really actually talking about individuals. I'm not talking about their character. I'm not making assessments of people's looks. I'm not berating or decrying or creating slander or anything like that. All I'm doing is talking about ideas. That's what I do, man. I talk about ideas. And if you don't like the ideas, man, feel free to exit stage left, man. It's just that simple. It's simple. I just don't get what guys don't get about that, man. I'm at a loss, okay? Shout out to BGS, man. You know, shout out to him, man. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to you, man. And also shout out to Volcanus, man. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Volcanus, man. So, again, man, I'll put it out there one more time, man. Real quick.
Small minds discuss other people. Gossip. Good minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas.
I'm here for the ideas, man. I didn't come into the space to go back and forth with rigmarole, man, and guys who, that's all they know how to do is to talk about other people and to compare and contrast themselves with other people, man. To me, that's some bitch shit. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with y'all, man. That's how I think it's some bitch shit. That's how I perceive it. But also, another thing that I know is that, and I like to demonstrate with proof, okay? So I'm gonna go to a scholarly journal, okay? And I'm gonna read an excerpt from it just so you can understand that people who continuously attack other people, who continuously do that, they on some bitch shit because that's a female form of aggression, man. People who continuously attack other people's personhood are engaging in female forms of aggression, bro. That's why I say stop crying like a bitch, man. Stop being a little bitch, man. Stop crying like a bitch. What your pussy sore for, man? That's like what's the problem, man? I just don't understand it.
Yo, hey man, pull your skirt down, B.
Pull your skirt down, man. What's the point? Now, my whole thing is if you gonna take shots and you got some shit to say, I'm gonna say something back. But I'm not gonna continue to engage in this merry-go-round and this lip wrestling bullshit. Because it's beneath me, to be perfectly honest. Shout out to IE Legend. He says here for the ideas. Indeed, man. True indeed, bro. That's what I thought that men would be about. Engagement with ideas. But instead, it's devolved into petty, back and forth high school type bullshit. Where do men do that at, bro? Where do they do it at? That's a question. Where do real men do this shit at? I'm at a loss. I just don't get it, man. I don't understand it. I'm not gonna even try to understand it. I don't care to understand it. It's some bullshit. But anyway, as I said, so here's an article, man, published in a journal called Frontiers in Behavioral Neuroscience. Okay? Talks about aggression in women, behavior, brain, and hormones. So we're gonna look into what women do when they're aggressive. And then you gotta ask yourself, do you see men in the manosphere doing this bum ass, sucker ass shit? You gotta ask yourself that. And then you gotta ask yourself, like, is this like really what this is supposed to be about? Like, really? Is this what the space is supposed to be about? Motherfuckers engaging in feminine forms of fucking aggression. Anyway, this is large as I'm gonna make it because I don't want it to be distorted and out of the screen. okay? So anyway, in this article, which is written by people from Australia, Wales, okay, a whole host of countries, there's a multi-author publication, Thomas F. Denson, Siobhan Odine, Candace Blake, Joanne Beams, and it's not just men who've written this either, okay? They're men and women who co-authored this study, okay? And they say, okay, what we're doing is we're reviewing literature on aggression in women with an emphasis on laboratory experimentation and hormonal and brain mechanisms. Women tend to engage in indirect forms of aggression, spreading rumors, than other types of aggression. In laboratory studies, women are less aggressive than men, but provocation attenuates this difference. In the real world, women are just as likely to aggress against their romantic partner as are men. I keep telling y'all that. Women are just, in a relationship, they're just as violent as men, okay? But men are able to cause more serious physical and psychological harm. I guess, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't necessarily agree with that. I know physically, yes, but in terms of psychological, I don't know so, okay? But anyway, a very small minority of women are also sexually violent. Women are susceptible to alcohol-related aggression, but this type of aggression may be limited to women high in trait aggression. Fear of being harmed is a robust inhibitor of direct aggression in women. There are too few studies, and most are underpowered to detect unique neural mechanisms associated with aggression in women. Testosterone shows the same small positive relationship with aggression in women as in men. The role of cortisol is unclear, although some evidence suggests that women who are high in testosterone and low in cortisol show heightened aggression. Under some circumstances, oxytocin may increase aggression by enhancing reactivity to provocation and simultaneously lowering perceptions of danger that normally inhibit many women from retaliating. What is that supposed to mean? Oxytocin may increase aggression. If you're in love, if you have the lovey-dovey feeling to your partner, it may increase aggression by enhancing reacting to being provoked. Anyway, there's some evidence that high levels of estradiol and progesterone are associated with low levels of aggression. We highlight that more gender-specific theory-driven hypothesis testing is needed with larger samples of women and aggression paradigms relevant to women. Okay? And then there's a little blurb here. Females are not passive victims of violence. Rather, they respond to provocation and are active participants in aggressive interactions. We know this. I know this. Shout out to Hurricane Greg. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it. So anyway, they go on to say aggression is a complex social behavior and it has many causes and manifestations. Over the past several decades, scholars have identified the many forms that aggression can take. It can be physical. For example, slapping. It can be verbal. So, for example, shouting abuse. It can be direct in nature, which is directly retaliating against a coworker, or indirect, with the aim of inflicting reputational harm. I say that, I dropped a bomb there for a reason. Reputational harm, spreading rumors about a coworker behind their back. Aggression can be impulsive, elicited by anger in response to provocation, known as reactive or hostile aggression, or it can be premeditated, less emotional, and used as a means to obtain some other end, known as proactive or instrumental aggression. Aggression that is physically extreme is referred to as violence, for example, aggravated assault or homicide. Despite their apparently different surface characteristics, these instantiations of aggression all conform to the scholarly definition of aggression as behavior intended to cause harm to someone who is motivated to avoid that harm. So they're telling you what harm actually is and what the definition of aggression is. Okay? Now this is what I'm here for. The aim of this review is to synthesize what is known about women's aggression from behavioral and neurobiological perspectives. We first focus on the behavioral research on women-perpetrated aggression, including women's behavior in laboratory aggression paradigms, intimate partner violence, alcohol-related aggression, and sexual violence. We then review data on prenatal and postnatal influences, the central nervous system and neuroendocrine mechanisms, and Figure 1 summarizes these factors. We conclude by identifying gaps in the knowledge base and provide suggestions for future research. Aggressive behavior, part 1. And I'm not going to read all of this, I swear. Okay? I just want to point something out and then we can move on, or I can just check out. Because this don't have to be long. Okay? Aggressive behavior. Compared to our knowledge of men's aggression, relatively little is known about women's aggression. Indeed, aggression and violence are usually considered male problems. And there's some truth to this assumption because globally, men are more violent than women. Okay? But women frequently engage in other forms of aggressive behavior. Research consistently reports that women use indirect aggression to an equivalent or greater extent than men. Indirect aggression occurs when someone harms another while masking the aggressive intent. Specific examples of indirect aggression include spreading false rumors, how many people in the Manosphere have engaged in spreading false rumors? Gossiping. Excluding others from a social group. Making insinuations without direct accusation. Criticizing someone's appearance or how they dress or their personality, That's a form of indirect aggression. It's some shit that women do. But I've seen it on display here in the Manosphere ad nauseum. Girls' use of indirect aggression exceeds boys from age 11 onward. This difference persists into adulthood. Compared to men, adult women use more indirect forms of aggression across various areas of life. Indeed, in a large cross-cultural survey of female aggression across 317 societies, Burbank found that female aggression was mostly indirect and rarely inflicted physical injury. Thus, in the real world, aggression is common in women and girls, but the form it takes is largely indirect compared to men's aggression. So it's not as if women aren't aggressive. They are aggressive, but they're indirectly aggressive. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the accounts of why this is the case. I'm not about to do that shit, okay?
Small minds discuss other people. Gossip. Good minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas.
So the question is, are you talking about people? Are you talking about events? Or are you talking about ideas? That's the question. That's what it all boils down to. Okay? That's what it all boils down to. So I'm going to invite some people here. If you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to. And look, let me just say this, Just Misty. Let me just say this. It's not about what you believe. Because too many people say, well, I believe. The question is whether or not what you believe is true and you can justify it. Those are the criteria. Is what you believe true, and can you justify it with evidence or some sort of argument? Having a belief by itself is not sufficient for you to demonstrate the verity or the truth of your belief. There's a difference. That's just my opinion about that. Leon, what's cracking with you? You good?
Yes, sir. I didn't expect you to pull me up so fast, but I learned about this in lifespan from my professor, and it wasn't even really part of our book. It wasn't even in the book, but she was talking about, women are aggressive in different ways. I mean, I actually super chatted you before you even posted the article, and I said it's called social aggressions, and I've read other articles, and it's basically the same article you're reading. And I said, oh, this makes sense. So if particular black girls didn't like how I talk because I didn't grow up in the inner city, they would bully me and talk shit about the way that I articulate words or some shit like that to make you fall in line with how guys do it. And guys participate in it too because they focus on women's behavior and what they like. So they'll bully you for the same shit. So it's just like what you're saying in the black manosphere that they follow what women do because they still live through women, pretty much.
Okay, again, let me do this one more time. Okay, I know that's small, so I'm gonna make myself bigger really quickly. All right. Again, this is an article written by neuroscientists. It's in a journal called Frontiers in Behavioral Neuroscience. I mean, and you're gonna find this information in more places than just this article. There's a cornucopia of evidence that demonstrates that women are, in certain instances, just as aggressive as men. Okay?
Yeah, I fully agree.
But, I mean, it all depends on what kind of aggression you're talking about. Okay? Now, again, I'm going to read this little section here. Okay? Because, I mean, they've already said, like, if you look at it, okay, it says, compared to our knowledge of men's aggression, little is known about women's aggression. Indeed, aggression and violence are usually considered to be male problems. And there's some truth to this because men are more violent than women. That's already been stated. But women frequently engage in other forms of aggressive behavior. So first of all, you have to make a distinction between the various forms of aggression and violence, which violence is a form of aggressive behavior. But to say that aggressive behavior is only the province of men is a fucking lie. It's a lie. Then the article goes on to say, women frequently engage in other forms of aggressive behavior. Research consistently reports that women use indirect aggression to an equivalent or to a greater extent than men. Indirect aggression occurs when someone harms another while hiding the aggressive intent, while perpetrating as if, oh, I wasn't harming anybody. Bullshit. Specific examples are spreading rumors, gossiping, trying to exclude people from the social group, making insinuations without being direct in how you accuse people, criticizing the way people appear or their personality. So the whole point is, this is clinical research. This is not some shit that people are just cooking up to cap. Like this is not some shit that people are just making up. Okay? Now if you want me to go to it, I mean they talk about domestic violence. You want me to go straight to it?
Yes, sir.
Because we know that
Go ahead
women
and go
are just as likely, if not more likely, to assault their intimate partner than men. We already know that. They know this. I mean, this is already known. Like, this is not some shit that, like, I have to cook up in order to try to convince somebody. Like, why would I have to cap? It makes no sense.
My professor knew in lifespan, and she's a white lady, and she brought it up, and I think it's barely a paragraph that they talk about it. And as soon as you Google it, you're gonna find 10 straight articles. One's gonna explain it in a short pretense, and you can click the article. Yeah, I've been knowing about that. It's just people don't focus on it. It's crazy.
Look. So anyway, look, it says, some women do use violence against their romantic partners, although the severity and form of IPV may differ compared to male-perpetrated IPV. Women tend to engage in fewer acts of severe IPV than men, just as women engage in less aggression than men generally. For instance, one study of IPV arrestees reported that women use an average of 1.44 severely violent tactics, according to the conflict tactic skills, during the arrest incident, whereas men use an average of 2.27 severely violent acts. Women are more likely than men to throw objects at their victims, to use weapons, and to bite their victims, whereas men are more likely to beat up, choke, or strangle their victims. Okay? Yeah, I've been bitten before. So, I mean, do men do this shit? Yes. But do women do it as well? Yes. But that's not even the point of all of this. The point I'm trying to demonstrate, and I mean, there's some shit to be said about, women.
Small minds discuss other people. Gossip. Good minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas.
So ultimately, it's about what's going on, like with motherfuckers and how they talk to each other in this space, as far as I'm concerned. That's how I perceive it. But just to answer this question, what white women know about black people? Well, you don't have to know much if you know the statistics. You really don't have to know much. Like, one of the things you got to be aware of, okay. So let's look at this. At the same time that all of this, and this is my last chart that I'm pulling up, okay? This is the last thing I'm pulling up. This is the last shit I'm pulling up, okay? So, at the same time, all of this legislation was being developed to determine who's beating up who, who's murdering who, who's assaulting who, who's doing all of the dangerous shit in the community. At the same time all of this was being developed, guess what was happening? Because I can tell you, 1983 was when the Duluth model for domestic violence came into being. Kimberly Crenshaw developed her theory of intersectionality and wrote Mapping the Margins in the late 80s, early 90s. They're the pioneers in the field that bring to light issues related to women and battering and violence and all of this. They're the ones who wrote the book on domestic violence, not only in the broader community, but in the black community. So these are scholars who have brought these issues to the public fore. But here's something alarming, and you got to see it for yourself. Let me go back to my display. This is the department. In case, let me do this, just in case motherfuckers want to start questioning this research right here. This is the U.S. Department of Justice, the Office of Justice Programs. It is a Bureau of Justice Statistics fact book. Violence by intimates, analysis of data on crimes by current or former spouses, boyfriends, and girlfriends. Okay? This is published by the government, by a group of statisticians. Okay? And they say, now let me go back to the previous shit about men and women and DV and all of this. And it says, and it's true, in 1976, the per capita rate of intimate murder of black men was 20 times, damn near, was 19 times higher than that of white men. God damn. 19 times higher than that of white men? The rate among black females, that rate was 7 times higher than the rate among white females. In 1996, the black male rate was 8 times of white males, and the black female rate was 3 times higher than that of the white female rate. So those are just some statistics, okay? And that's in 1976, okay? Now, from 1976 to 1996, or between 1976 and 1989, more black men were killed by their wives than black women were killed by their husbands. Do you see that? How do you respond to that? I would like for you to respond to that. So at the very same time that Ellen Pence was developing the Duluth model of domestic violence, and at the same time that Kimberly Crenshaw was writing or developing the theory of intersectionality and the ideas in mapping the margins, more black women were killing black men than the other way around. So then you have to ask the question, how the fuck does the theory match up with reality during that time? Why is nobody talking about all these black male victims? At the time, nobody was crying a river about niggas dying. They was like, fuck it, kill them niggas. Either statistics, either it's a fact about the world or it's not. Either it's true that black women were killing more, their husbands more or less than men. And either it's a fact or it's not a fact. Now the question is, what reason does the U.S. Department of Justice have to lie about this shit? Why? Why would the U.S. Department of Justice? They're going to get paid anyway. What reason would the U.S. Department of Justice have to lie? What reason would they have to lie?
Besides justifying people's jobs?
I'm just saying, look, either a certain amount of people died in a certain context or did not. Now, if you trust it, say in the domain of women dying more, then you got to trust it when it's the converse or another set of conditions obtained. You can't just say, okay, well, I trust the statistics when it benefits me and I don't like the statistics when it don't.
Well, I kind of look at it this way, Gigi, and by the way, how you doing?
What's going on? What's cracking?
I look at it the same way as when they talk about the 52% of murders, which is not true. It's because they don't want to indict their own people to say, y'all fucked up. Because there's a lot of, white people and white women And hell, black women who would default on child support. But why do black men always stay the face of it?
Well,
Many more than black men. You have black women who are more default. Black women never pay their child support orders. They never listen to any.
you dropped out.
They never have any court documentation that they adhere to when it comes to custody of a child. What you realize is that a lot of them, when they lose custody, the first thing they do is try to delete their children.
Well, hey man, that's crazy. And that's another thing. Really, I didn't point it out, but one of the things that you got to be understanding of, like when you talk about violence and aggression, and then you talk about who's weak and who's strong, and things of this nature. This is what you got to be really, really careful about, man. And what nobody really introduces into the equation. Who's the most vulnerable people in any community?
Children.
Children. Who kills children more than any other demographic?
Women.
Gigi, can I ask something to that?
Go ahead.
Where does 70% of abuse and neglect happen? And murder.
You get about 5 times more likely to be abused in a single mother home than in a 2-parent or single father one. And the craziness about it is, majority of your child abuse cases are by mama or somebody mama introduced to that child. So
now look, and what I don't want to derive from all of this is that somehow I'm saying that there's something inherently wrong with women.
No.
That's not what I'm trying to say. Okay.
No.
But what I don't like also though is for people to try to put forward the notion that there's something fundamentally wrong with men. Like there's something ontologically wrong with men that predisposes them to violent behavior. Like if you look at violence all across the board and you start tabulating and tallying violence and who's committing it and like who's committing acts of violence to people who are vulnerable the most, you got to start tallying all of now, the thing that this study did, it conveniently left out the whole notion of children being subjected to violence by their parents and which gender their parents are or sex their parents are who's primarily committing the acts of violence. That's always left out. Now, I'm not saying that men aren't violent. I think that they are. But to argue that women are not violent at all, to me, is, or that men are just so much more violent out of context, to me, it's bad faith. And then also, a lot of times, women are at the center of violence in between men. I'm not saying all the time. That's not the case that it's not the case that all the time men are in violence because of women, but a lot of times it is the case that men are engaged in violence at the behest of a woman.
But the proxy violence that you just spoke of is something that everybody neglects. I mean, a man was fighting for his damn life like a couple of weeks ago because of a chick telling her brothers go shoot his shit up, and somehow, some way, she's not in jail. Come on now. Somehow, some way, 2 weeks ago in Chicago, a lady mouthing off to an angry guy, get cracked in the head by him, and she tells her son to go shoot his ass, and then the other chicken who didn't even touch her. But nobody points that shit out. I mean, I'm not saying it's all. It's just a lot more than what people are betting on.
And so, look, the only thing I'm trying to articulate here, though, women are aggressive, man. They are aggressive. There are instances in which women are aggressive. Aggression does not always have the same form. But also, I want to point out there is a lot of men that engage in indirect aggressive behavior just like some bitches. I hate to say that shit, but I mean, even in the Manosphere it's happening. Indirect aggression. People spreading rumors about others. False rumors. To intentionally create, an untruth or exaggerated truths about someone with the purpose of causing a harm to their reputation. their relationships or standing within a social or a professional group. Now, women do it in a neighborhood. They might spread a false woman about another woman neglecting her children or some shit like that. And the intention is to cause stigma, to damage the woman's reputation as a good mother or something like that. But men also can do this shit. In a competitive environment, they might initiate a rumor about a colleague and take credit for somebody else's work. Or they could try to cast doubt on somebody else's professionalism or their integrity and try to impact their career or their standing. I see a lot of that bullshit going on. And you got niggas gossiping and shit, which is the act of discussing personal or sensitive information about someone else. Motherfuckers like, I'm about to dox and shit like that. What type of niggas do this, man? Trying to share somebody's private, sensitive, or, speculate about somebody's, private lives and shit like that. For what? Now, women will do this, especially if they're in a close-knit group of friends. They might share a secret about another woman's marital issues or something. Or try to cast blame or to try to prove that she's unstable or some shit like that. To basically embarrass her or some shit like that. But men could do the shit like, if you're on a sports team, you might gossip about a teammate's loyalty or their commitment to the team. Like, the motherfucker ain't showing up to practice. He don't give a fuck about the team. To try to create division. Then you got people who engage in social exclusion, which is, trying to leave somebody out of a group or activities in order to try to create emotional distress. That's relational aggression. Because people want to be included, but then you do the best you can to try to exclude them. So, like, women will do this shit, like, they might, and during lunch and shit, they like turn their backs on the motherfucker trying to sit at the table or something, trying to create feelings of isolation for somebody new. The men might do it by trying to avoid a person, or after work they try to avoid them or something like that, to close them off from networking opportunities or some shit like that. But it's bitch behavior. That's bitch behavior, man. Or insinuations, where you subtly suggest or hint something negative about somebody without actually stating it openly. Or you might criticize the way somebody looks or they wear their clothes or something like that. Now, I mean, look, if you get petty, I'm gonna get petty. If you go low, I'm gonna go low. But don't try to tell me I got to stay high while you fucking punching me in the nuts. Fuck that shit, man. I'm supposed to keep letting you punch me in my nuts. But this is the sort of shit that exists in the Manosphere. But go ahead, Charles and Leon, man. Go ahead, man. I want to know what y'all opinions are.
I'm waiting on Charles.
I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Don't poke me in the eye and think I'm not going to kick you in the nuts. I mean, it's funny because, as you know, my cousin in New York would always say that's some bitch-made shit. But you got to remember, a bitch made them to have this type of behavior.
Well, the way I look at it is some guys, man, it ain't, I could tell when some guys haven't really actually been around men.
Yeah, and it's very, you can see the faultiness of their masculinity. It's derelict, as a matter of fact. What makes it even sadder is that a lot of dudes nowadays don't even know when you're coming at them in a gentlemanly fashion to settle an issue or a problem. They're always hyper emotional, hyper vindictive, They gotta spread a rumor. They gotta tell everybody their business, and then they wonder why nobody trusts them. They wonder why nobody relies on them. You made your bed, and I think a lot of dudes don't understand that there's higher penalties for men, even just socially alone, than sometimes even women. Yeah, that woman can get away with doing that gossiping crazy shit, but nobody's gonna feel sorry for a dude doing it. And frankly, it's like when you in places like in the Manosphere, you would think motherfuckers would be beyond that.
I thought so.
You think
Me,
they
me
would
coming
be
into the
beyond.
space, I had an opinion about, because I'm already in fraternities and shit with men, so I know how niggas operate. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, okay, this is what I'm walking into. I'm walking into some shit that's the direct opposite of what I'm used to in having communion and association with other men. Now, you know, petty shit goes on in any organization.
Of
Okay,
course.
but this shit is more than petty, man. This is outright. This is some cornball shit, if you ask me. I'm
Uh,
not everybody here, but it's
but
a lot of fuck shit going on
but
here.
to hit on what you're talking about, it's like when one of my homeboys make it, I'm happy for him. It may be his time, but there's too many of us who get caught up in our feelings, and I really do our fifis, and we don't try to make the situation better. Like, I just got
Yeah.
off being the unofficial security director of BlurCon, and I gave young black men a chance to do some shit that a lot of people wouldn't give them. We
For
did such
sure,
a
for sure.
good we did such a good job. Both Cree Summer and Rachel True's agent said, "I want you guys anytime I bring a celebrity. Matter of fact, I want y'all when we go out overseas."
That's what's up, man. That's
Even
what's
the
up.
sponsor of the even the sponsor of the con said, "Yo, I want this. Like, I want your team, and we do 35 cons a year. And I want you guys. You guys were great. You were in sync. There were no problems. We found missing children. We saved a couple of dudes' lives from dehydration and drug inflicted issues. We stopped a bunch of fights. Kept a lot of perverts out the convention. So it's funny. How many brothers out there are gonna or fuck the guys your age? How many of you are giving a young men a chance? How many of you are giving young men See, it's sad to call a lot of dudes this shit nowadays, but a lot of niggas have become catty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We call that shit cat. I'm in a fraternity, man. The mascot is a dog, so we call motherfuckers this on some bullshit, some bitch shit. We call it cat. That's some cat shit.
Yeah. And it's not supposed to be that way. When you're trying to have a fraternity for men, but what the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well,
One of the
it's one thing to be in competition. It's another thing to not like somebody's ideas. It's another thing to engage in slander and to engage in like developing rumors and shit. It's another thing to try to comment constantly about somebody's appearance and shit, how they dress or what their name is or how they carry themselves. Like, stop the ad hominem shit and talk about the arguments, man. Fuck all the bullshit.
I agree. Um, I talked to Mr. Z about this on his own show, and I talked to BGS about this because I'm a supporter of the space. I throw money around. If it's something I disagree with, more likely you won't see me super chat or be on the video. I just leave. I don't gossip and take something from another show. But what I find interesting, all the things that I've learned from BGS, you, Tia John Johnson, or anyone else, um, people tend to focus on the major one thing that they don't like within the subject. And that's where they put the majority of their energy. When most of us agree about 5 out of 10 things. And the one thing that we won't agree on is bringing black women back to the table, or SYSBM, or the guy, what average guy can afford it. It's stupid shit. And they get caught up in those conversations 24/7. Then you see guys act like this. Then you see guys trying to flex and be machos and be tough and all that type of shit. And anytime it's happened to me, I just walk away because it's not real life with me. It's not in my face.
Yeah, like I just personally, I don't like the whole I'm a man type motherfucking concept. Like I'm alpha this and I'm alpha that, and bruh, like Biggie said, but I've been cool since days of under rules. Like I don't need to motherfucking try to demonstrate how cool and how manly I am. Like to me, that's like wearing man drag or some shit like that. Like trying to demonstrate that I'm really this type of forward progressive man. Fuck all that shit, man. I don't need.
No, that's why we get killed. I end up in jail.
But at the end of the day, this is another thing I'm thinking. Like when it comes to the manosphere, though, this is what you gotta acknowledge, right? Most of the people who watch my content are already men, man. The people who watch this content are not boys. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I mean, like it's important for people to understand that. Like when it comes to the people who watch my content, I don't know about other people, but like people who watch my shit, they're men. They're not like children. You understand what I'm saying? I can show it to you. Now, there are some people between the ages of 18 and 24, but those are small. That's like only less than 5% of the people who watch my shit are between the ages of 18 and the 24. Okay? So let me make the screen big again. Here's my demographic breakdown. Less than 1% of people between the ages of 13 and 17 watch this content. That's less than 1%, okay? From 18 to 24 years, that's 4.2%. Now, personally, those are the people who show the most promise of development or behavior modification. People between 18 and 24, right? Now, what the fuck am I gonna tell a man that's fucking 25 to 34 years old that he don't already fucking know? What can I tell a man that's 25 to 34 years old? Is that a boy or is it a man? To me, that's a man. Now, I can talk, I can have conversations with men. I can't dictate and tell them what the fuck they need to be doing. That's on them to get their shit straight. Now, I can advise and counsel people I'm close with, but I'm not obligated to tell men who are 25 to 34 years old what they have to do. I can offer suggestions, but I can't make any man do anything they don't want to do. I can provide information, that's it. I can't be a life coach to every man I come into contact with that's 25 to 34 years old. The bulk of the people who watch my shit are between 35 and 44 years old. 35%. Between 45 and 54 years old, 25%. Those are grown-ass men. You can't tell a 45-year-old man how to improve his career trajectory. He's at the fucking end of the game. Or am I wrong about this? Is he or is a 45-year-old man at the end of the game or what?
Depending on his career, he's probably, depending on a few careers, he's probably already retired and going to a second career.
He's probably trying to move and use some sort of residual income or passive income and go, like you said, go to fucking Brazil or something. Or
that's BDS.
Doesn't need career advice. Doesn't need skills or resources. They already have them. Most of the people who watch my shit already have careers. What the fuck? They don't come here to learn fucking career advice. They don't come here to learn how to make, widgets or some shit like that, or how to learn how to code. It's a whole bunch of shit on the internet. Like if you want information to learn skills, there are places on the internet to get it. Or am I wrong about this? Like, if you want to learn how to use OBS, what, you have to go to the Manosphere? You fucking look up OBS, how to use OBS, and you figure it out. There's so many people creating content on so many different subjects. Why do we have to fucking be there providing lessons and classes for everybody for every goddamn thing by ourselves? Like a closed system. Shit don't even make sense. You want to learn how to code or how to do, differential equations. This shit is online for free. You got Harvard courses on fucking YouTube. Princeton courses. They're there for you to take. And it ain't just electives either. I'm talking about calculus is online. For free. If you want to learn this shit. Why would you listen to somebody in the Manosphere for that information? For what? Now, I'm not saying you can't offer it, but like, come on, man, let's just be serious about this shit. 9% of the people, man, are over 55. Like, what am I going to tell a motherfucker over 55 what he got to do with his life? The most I can do is to try to instruct people between the 18 years of 18 to 24 years, but less than 5% of the population who watches my shit are in that age group, or in that demographic. Or in that age group. What the fuck am I gonna tell? Why should I have conversations directed towards that shit when most of the people who watch my channel are over 25 years old? Why? Most of the guys here don't need career insight and, like understanding. They already got careers and shit. It's like I just don't understand like what motherfuckers are complaining about. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it, man. But I don't give a fuck about trying to get it anymore, to be perfectly honest. Because what we're dealing with here, a lot of times in this space, you got guys competing with one another, and they're using bitch tactics in order to compete with one another. Just is what it is. It's sad, but it is what it is. He says, look, Vector 313 says there's no barrier to entry or standardized interest obstacle that must be satisfied similar to a fraternity, which is true. That is true. He says apples and oranges. But I did expect for men to behave a little bit differently than, like some catty ass bitches on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I expected something different. This is true, but I expected something different. I didn't expect to be, dealing with mean girls and shit, which is laughable to me, man. This shit is laughable to me. And look, Narratives and Dialogue says, but there are some channels like the Black Brain Trust who have younger men who watch them, so I think it's a good thing to have that plug with them too, in addition to older men watching. Look, I have no problem with people doing the content that they want to do. Find your niche and do it. But while you're doing it, why is it necessary for you to consistently make attacks on people who's not doing it? You ought to be happy that you got your own lane and your own niche. Do you? Why is it necessary for everybody to have the same voice articulating the same univocal message? Why is that necessary? I don't understand it. But I don't care about understanding it. I just know female aggression when I see it. And I'm like, I'm on some male aggressive shit. Like, I'm like, if it's gonna be some beef, let's get the shit over with. Let's knuckle it out. Or shoot it out, whatever the fuck we gotta do. But like all this back and forth, lip wrestling and shit, now we'll be petty here and there. But come on, man. Like, I'll crack a joke or some shit. But like, come on, man. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not here to go back and forth with guys lip wrestling and shit. It's some bullshit to me. Stop crying like bitches and let's get to the work, man. If you don't like what I had to say, fine, cool, I understand. It's like, what happens if you on a channel on TV and you don't like it? What do you do with it? You change the motherfucker, right? Right? Or do you keep watching it and keep complaining about the shit that you're watching and you don't even have a taste for it, but you're gonna watch it anyway? I just don't get it. Do your shit. Like Ken Dawes say exactly. It's too many YTs to want. It's too many YouTube channels want to create a line of mini me's. Just do you. That's how I perceive it, man. Just do you, man. And I ain't got no hate for nobody, man. I'm just like, God damn, can we get past this bullshit, man? Motherfuckers telling you what you can say, telling you what you can't say, telling you about who you are, telling you who you're not. And these motherfuckers ain't never seen you a day in their lives, man. They don't know you, don't know shit about you, but they're trying to convince other people how fucked up you are. Like, why? How's that manly, bruh? How's that some man type shit? I'm trying to get it. Leon, anybody out there, explain to me what's manly about trying to tear up somebody's reputation, bruh. And trying to tarnish them and spreading gossip and rumors and shit. What's manly about that?
It's nothing manly about it. And I was just talking to my cousin about a dirty Mac. I feel the same way about him.
You say a dirty Mac?
A dirty Mac, yeah. Like,
yeah, I don't
you know,
like that.
yeah.
Trying to
we're
be,
talking about that hard.
Yeah, like, trying to diss another motherfucker to get into pussy or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't do that, man. That's the only Tupac shit when I saw that, I heard that shit, I said, man, that's some sucker shit right there.
Exactly.
But you need to tarnish, why you got to go off on another man in order to make yourself look good? Why can't you compare yourself to you and improve yourself based upon your own standards? Why is it necessary for you to compare and contrast who you are with another individual? And look, he says, why don't y'all go up on the panel? Man, BGS, man, you can't make nobody come up on the panel, bro. But all I'm saying is, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. My old, all my family, all the elders used to say, look, the less you say, the less you got to take back. If you ain't got nothing good to say about somebody, don't say shit at all. So I myself, I just, I thought I was coming into a group of people who are progressive, but more often than not, what I end up finding out is that you got a group of guys, man, who are like really actually jockeying for a position. But like, think about this shit, man. This is a small chitlin circuit of YouTube, man. This is the chitlin circuit of YouTube. This is a YouTube chitlin circuit, man. I mean, I'm not trying to be ignorant by saying that. I'm not saying that it's not important, but this is the chitlin circuit of YouTube. It's motherfuckers out here, man, getting it out here in YouTube. Like getting it. Like one of the guys out here, he don't do shit about social and political issues. What is his name? Brownlee. Marquez Brownlee. He don't say shit about social and political issues at all. Share the screen. You want skills? Go holler at this motherfucker right here. He on YouTube This guy's on YouTube.
Killing it.
Got 17 million followers.
Killing it. He'll show you the cell phone you got, the new version.
17 million subscribers. YouTuber, geek, consumer electronics. What's the point of punching down? Like, if you want to get money or some shit like that, start talking to the motherfuckers who got for real money and real clout. That's clout. 17 million followers is clout. Exchanging back and forth bullshit with niggas with less than 10,000 subscribers? What do you have to gain from that? I just want to know what you got to gain from that. Like, what do you get out of that? I.E. Legend Man and Swamp Decadence, man. Welcome to the show, man. Y'all got anything y'all want to say?
Appreciate it, GG. I just came up at the encouragement of BGS telling us to get on the panel. It's a lot to say in the chat, but I guess you got to get up sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you got something you want to say?
Nah, man, I just agree with you guys, man. A lot of it, I mean, it's cowardice, man. The way I see it, we don't get a chance to really be men and be aggressive males. And because that, opportunity isn't there, because that's not a standard for us to go through in life, we resort to a lot of things that we see what females do, from learning, whether it's school, home, we resort to the tactics that we see and we observe rather than what, we could be doing.
Well, you only learn what you can only do what you know, but goddamn, I mean, there are biological factors and shit that also, play a part in the kind of, activity that you engage in and the kind of aggression you display. Like, I'm used to physical or, like direct aggression. I ain't used to a whole bunch of snide remarks and motherfuckers saying shit about you and shit like that. Like, I ain't used to that. But I guess because that's the only kind of aggression you can display on a social media setting, I guess that's the, guys are thirsty to do something.
Well, I would argue to a certain extent it's the only thing that's allowed in society. I mean, you don't have too many males who can just walk up and have a fight in the neighborhood without somebody, getting mad and coming to bring a gang to jump them or calling the police. They can't just dap it up and say, hey, you got that. And that's a social thing that we see from being a young kid. So if you don't go from a young kid having to face that bully and having to put them hands up, when you get to the real world, how you gonna fight for real?
Yeah.
The only way you've been taught, the only way you've been conditioned. I learned very early on in high school, how to indirectly get things done with teachers. You know what I'm saying? Just by being an athlete. So I'm gonna take that into the real world. But on the field, it's a whole different monster. You know what I'm saying? I can't bring them real world things out there. It's a whole different emotion, a whole different feeling I got to rock with. That's more physical, more direct. But you get outside them lines, they don't like that.
Yeah. Swamp Decadence, you got something you want to contribute? Guess not.
I have a question, GG.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, we live in the South. We in Texas. One of the major things that my grandfather and my dad talked to me about was when I was in the workplace and met basically social aggressions without saying social aggressions. I learned that word when I was like 26. So white boys tend to do this shit, but is it considered the same thing? Would you say it's considered the same thing, or is it a different dynamic or idea behind, what they do compared to actual social aggressions, if you get what I'm asking? Because you have to understand that, if you're focused on a check, to throw that shit to the side and prove through your labor or whatever.
Do white boys engage in indirect passive aggressive behavior? Yeah. But they also, they do both. So that would be my answer to that question. Do white boys always engage in, indirect behavior? No. Do they always engage in direct behavior? No. It's a blend.
Yes.
But at the same time, more often than not, if you got the power, you don't really have to actually engage in indirect, like, mean girl behavior anyway. If you run into shit, I'm not saying that they don't, but I mean, in order to keep you in your place, but how many times, I mean,
different.
do
In
you,
your mind, is it different?
have you really actually had white boys on your job spread rumors about you and shit?
I think when I was about 20, they tried me once or twice at a job. And yeah, put it like this. I had a customer, right? And there were other salespeople in front of me. And so the manager came out and said something about it because the person didn't receive help immediately, right? And it was at a car dealership. I made the statement I wasn't confident about that. So they pushed the issue off to me, and I had to go back to the manager, for example, and explain it wasn't about the customer. It was the fact that I had like 6 people standing in front of me that were sales associates. So what do I look like jumping in front of them to get to the customer? Pretty much that type of issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
But they I had like 4 or 5 of them point the finger at me based on what I said to take the pressure off of them. And it worked.
yeah, well, like white boys know how to be backbiting and act like bitches too. So,
Yeah.
like to say it doesn't ever happen, I can't say that it doesn't. But like typically though, if a man has a problem with you, he gonna let you know I got an issue.
Yeah. That's
And
how
then,
I do.
and if I don't like a guy, I'm just not gonna fuck with the dude. I'm not gonna keep going back and forth having conversations with somebody I don't fuck with or rock with.
Definitely.
Or, like, even if I don't know, like, say, for example, I never met somebody in my life. I don't know this person. I'm not just going to come out and just start finding motherfuckers to attack just based upon, because I need somebody to be my, like, my target or some shit. Like, I need a mark.
But aren't we talking about more character flaws, Gigi? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of white guys do. If they can't get at you directly, they'll come at you indirectly, especially in the workplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I was asking.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it doesn't. But when it does happen, it's some bitch shit.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
that wasn't really the question is it really the same? And I that's not studied, so y'all get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think they're just engaging in a different form of like it's just social warfare, especially if you don't have access to formal ways of competing. It's just easier to spread rumors, try to, it's a free form of warfare. You can tear somebody down with just flapping your lips and your gums, and even with that, the coming after someone a little bit bigger than you, I remember like 50 Cent's book when he was talking about like the beef he started with Oprah. It's like if we're not going to be like public allies, can we at least be like public enemies? And I can benefit like that. I feel like it's partly that stuff too.
Yeah, but here, okay, so let me just say this, and maybe I might be wrong about this, but this is my guess. If you want to guess, prior to the advent of all of this legislation about making discrimination illegal and there being punishments and fines and potential, retribution related to it. Prior to that, I mean, white people pretty much did what they fucking wanted with black folks in the employment sector. And it was direct. It wasn't like indirect. It was like, okay, motherfucker, you're a Negro. You're going to be the last hired and first fired. Just like it. Hey, got to look out for my boys here.
Right.
They'll come out and tell a woman directly, hey, women need not apply. Shit, they was to the point like prior to the 64 Civil Rights Act and all and other, employment discrimination acts and shit, they'll come out, the Irish need not apply. No Asians, no Negroes. They'll come out and say it.
I mean,
But
honestly, it'd be better if they did that.
But
Then you don't waste your time.
But then it became illegal. And then you started to put women into the workplace. And look, again, the reason I read the article was to demonstrate that women are aggressive in different kinds of ways than men. And some of the ways that they're aggressive is by spreading rumors and shit, creating, like exclusion, talking about people behind their backs, or even talking about people in front of them. Just reputation ruination, that sort of shit. All I'm saying is think about what cancel culture is and how often it's used and how actually it's part of the corporate structure. Because you can't have a cancel culture without policies that are utilized in order to cancel motherfuckers. So in my viewpoint, female aggression has been integrated into corporate, academic, and governmental structures. It just has been. All you got to do is make an accusation about somebody and what they did. Or try to, the game right now is reputation ruination. That's what it's about. Am I wrong?
It's one of the easiest ways to take down the strongest opponent.
Reputation ruination. It's a form of female aggression. It's what they do. But now you have given them, you've armed these people with the tools to engage in the form of aggression that they're most comfortable with. And it's perceived as justice. It's not perceived as aggression, it's justice. To me, that's fucked up. But that's just my opinion. I think female aggression has been enshrined into law.
I'm not gonna disagree with that, but Chat GPT is pretty cool. And I was trying to get it to answer a question. I sent you an article once on your Facebook, but once you said you didn't use it. So this is the
It's been
thing.
a while since I used Facebook. You got to email me.
I sent you the Ben Affleck article to prove, like, you were arguing with a guy and they were saying, women didn't own slaves, and it's like, yo, you got a guy right here, unowned slaves or whatever. But how do I explain this? There's no focus on what women do, because there was always a hyper focus on what men did. So most laws were based in the behavior of men, and there's never a primary focus or direction on how to deal with women. That's basically what I got from Chat GPT. They're like, it's a primary focus on man's behavior. And so
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. But look, at the end of the day, bro, this is what I'm saying. Women have been interpolated into the workforce, right or wrong?
Right.
Since the Civil Rights Act. They pretty much hijacked it. Women did, right? Or did Negroes get ushered in? The Civil Rights Act was supposed to attend to the needs of black folks, right or wrong?
Yes.
That's what it was intended for. Now, did it do its job? Did it actually enfranchise black folks like it was supposed to do?
No.
Who did it enfranchise? Who did it enfranchise?
White women down the line, then,
So ultimately, if you are in a space and you're like a large portion of the people in the space, you're going to make rules and laws and policies that benefit yourself and that make you feel comfortable. Like if you move into a house, you're going to put your own mark on it, right? You move into an area or a location, you're going to make it your own. They've made this shit their own.
No, that just seems like the nature of liberal, just liberal politics. It's always been a little bit indirect. You say one thing, you may write something in law, but then you use the way that you execute the law to do what you actually want to do.
But here's my point. Prior to the Civil Rights Act, they weren't indirect. Were white people indirect before the Civil Rights Act?
I mean, a little bit in the sense that, yeah, like they would, like if we go for the cases of lynchings, like, yeah, they would say it's because, you looked at this white woman, but it had less to do with that than just getting rid of a guy who is he got too big for his britches, basically. Like
I
we're
mean,
really
they'll
getting
say
into
that,
that,
they'll
but we're
call,
blaming
man,
it on white women.
they'll say you uppity.
Yeah.
They'll do all kind of shit. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't reach for reasons, but I mean, come on, man. Like, I mean, I want you to think about this. I'm gonna show you again.
I think they were direct.
I'm gonna show you again.
They were direct.
Let me see if I can actually get this shit to pull up. For some reason, it ain't showing.
It's borderline like saying they felt it and they saw it and they thought it and it became reality for them. Okay, before civil rights.
This is the sort of shit white people were saying. Okay? Communists have infiltrated our churches. Now it's trying to integrate our schools. We don't want niggers around. Like, that's a lynching, okay? That's white people expressing their disapproval at black people trying to integrate their schools and trying to be, interpolated into civil society alongside of them. It look pretty direct to me. That shit don't look like indirect aggression. That looks like some direct aggression. That's direct aggression. I mean, that might not, just wearing a hood by itself might not be aggressive, but it shows sending a message that we will fucking tie your ass up to a tree. Because that's what that group does. And that's a woman saying, I support the men that hang niggas from trees.
But Gigi, I would add, like, if we just put it like a baseline comparison to someone like a truly authoritarian country like China, like, are you gonna take the time to put it on, like, what is it? Are you gonna take the time to blame, we're actually protecting our women and, all these, foolish things, or they're measuring skull size and trying to prove your illiteracy and all that stuff. But if you're in truly authoritarian state, they have the ability. I guess they have the government has the grace to just simply say it is what it is. We're getting rid of these people, and I don't really have to explain it that much.
That's
They
what I
still
think.
gave that basic effort, and now it's more stringent, so they have to give a lot better, reason for getting the same result. But they still have to move into that. They still have to move into that. Within they still have to move within. Okay, even if it's a half-baked idea, we can't just come out and say what we have to make it in the context of the law, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, they got to use, right now they're subjected to the law. So they have to be kind of conscious of what they're doing. Or they don't want to get sued. Who wants to lose money or be brought in front of a court in order to deal with a case related to discrimination or some shit? Because it can have an impact on your employment.
Yeah, until it has an impact on their reputation or their economic situation, they were very direct about it.
So, I mean, the Southern strategy is indirect. But some people say the Southern strategy doesn't exist, which, there's some black people that say that shit don't exist, which to me is some bullshit. But like Jared, says here, Dodio, it says it only became indirect in the PC era of the past 30 years. I tend to agree with that. I mean, not to say that white people weren't being politically, indirect, because that's what, like, states' rights is indirect aggression. Lower taxes, that's indirect aggression. Forced busing, that's indirect. They tell you it's indirect. They say it themselves. They come out and say the shit themselves. But the reason they're indirect is because they don't want to get hit with laws and fines and shit like that and lose their jobs. Now, when it comes to like different shit, like in the Manosphere or like dealing with women, it's a whole different ball game.
Well, I believe that's just plantation politics. I just think that's just, like when I was reading the Eyes Are Watching God, and specifically when her second husband finally got the town, he became mayor and basically rallied the troops and got these loosely grouped together town that didn't have much of anything, finally built them up. And then when you see that he didn't built y'all up, now they start doing these cackly arguments about, how he feeds his animals and stuff. So now you got, the lower, basically black men backbiting the other black man for rallying the troops and just creating an argument to tear him down. It just seems like basic plantation politics to me. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They don't have formal ways of competing with you, so they're just informally going to, do what they do what they need to do to get that aggression out.
Now, I'm not. Look, one thing I am gonna say is that men do engage in indirection as well. But when your primary modus of aggression is to do indirect shit, to me, that's some bitch shit to me. I'm sorry.
I agree.
That's just my opinion. If you got some issue, bring it to me.
But again, back to my earlier question, when are you developed in that manner? When are you developed to bring your issue to a man, from childhood up, other than sports? When the coaches say, okay, y'all got issues, get it on. When does that opportunity occur?
Shit, it can occur in manhood as an adult.
Look, if you didn't go to the school I went to, it don't occur. For some guys, it skip by. You know what I'm saying? I went to a different type of high school where it was, it was criminalish, and then I went to a PWI. Where that PWI, you ain't run across too many men that's trying to run up on you with, the rah-rah stuff. Here or there, but you knew they talking, but not really finna do something to you.
White dudes fight too, though. Shit, them motherfuckers, I done seen them motherfuckers fight. Think white boys don't fight?
No, not exclusive to race, but just in general. In general, when do you have to, the opportunity to take that fight, to get punched in the mouth? How many people have the opportunity to get punched in the mouth? A lot of people fear that more than just the fight itself.
Man, shit. I don't know what high school you went to. Like you said, you went to all black high school, right?
Right.
But then you went to a white school for college.
Right.
And
at both levels, some people didn't want to get hit in the mouth. You got a lot of people that was rah-rah from the hood, ready to fight, or a drunk white boy. But once you hit him in the mouth, it changed the situation.
Well, shit, ain't that what who said that? Mike Tyson
Mike
said
Tyson,
that? Yeah. Once you hit a motherfucker in the mouth, everything changed.
Correct. But how many people willing to get hit in the mouth in the first place?
Most people don't think you're gonna hit them in the mouth, and so they're testing you to see what type of person you are. Then when they get hit in the mouth, they're shocked. Because most people when you think about most people, okay, GG. I lived in Central Texas. I graduated around '06. So you've been in Texas for a while, and if you heard anything about our generation, it was you could get jumped at the mall, football game, basketball game. So we were always prepared to get hit in the mouth or hit somebody in the mouth. It's just like a normal fucking thing. It was part of the culture. But when you go out of certain places, and let's say parents were military and we lived on post for a minute, a lot of kids don't expect to get hit in the mouth until you hit them in the mouth. Then it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Because they're used to this gated, everybody get along culture. I'm a joke at you type of thing. So it just matters.
I went to all black college, man. So, motherfuckers was putting their hands on guys in college where I was at. Motherfuckers was pulling out pistols on motherfuckers in college, which is crazy.
That is crazy. I experienced the same. My PWI was right across the street from an all black college. But that's the same thing. You pulling out a gun, but are you gonna shoot it? A lot of guys, I seen more guns in college than I seen in high school.
Bro, because people actually are of age to where they can have a gun.
Look, I knew a lot of youngins who were far from age in high school with guns. So
I'm not saying, but I'm saying legally, like in high school, if you 16, 17 years old, man, you can't legally have a gun.
Very true, very true. But
you 20 years old, 21, shit like, I mean, in New Orleans, you could be 20, you could be 18 to have legally be a gun owner. My first gun I bought was in New Orleans. It was a cheap ass 380 Larson.
I think I get what he's saying, but I think context matters. It's like you're talking about a people coming from a whole different area to go to a PWI or any college. So your confidence isn't the same as when you're at home. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm in a particular area, the guy talks shit, but he's not really about it. But if I'm in Baltimore with my cousins, the first thing you need to do is punch a nigga in his face, and he's expecting to get punched in his face or to punch back. So I think that's what you're trying to say. But certain guys have guns because the idea of protection and where they grow up, then they carry them where they go, and we might interact the same way with a situation that's not needed in a different environment. So that's why they don't end up punching somebody or actually shooting. Maybe.
I'm just saying, here's my viewpoint on this shit, man. Look, I really don't want static with nobody, but goddamn, man. If you gonna cause some static, man, let's get into it, man. Fuck all the jaw jacking and shit. Let's get it in. Or leave me the fuck alone. I don't need like this. Here's my viewpoint about like the Manosphere and motherfuckers. All of this conversation and discussion related to being productive and being a man and all this kind of shit. Real talk. Like, what the fuck do I have to prove to anybody in this space, man?
But I don't think it's about proving something to other people. It's about people proving something to themselves. I mean,
bruh, you got motherfuckers in this space calling out other men, talking about whether they're strong, whether they're weak, whether they're manly, whether they're simps, whether they're pookies and all kind of shit. People trying to determine assessing other people's character without even fucking having no understanding of who they are and their background in life.
It sounds to me like somebody who wants you to, they don't want to really get it in. They want you to get out the way. And, it's two different perspectives.
My viewpoint on this shit is, what does anybody have to prove in a social media space? And what, like, it'd be different if, like, say, for example, somebody here was my boss. And I had to demonstrate my proficiency in a certain area of expertise in order to receive, the job. But what the fuck do I have to prove to any random Negro in the Manosphere? Like, what?
Well, again,
do I have to demonstrate, like, if I'm not your pastor, if I'm not your professor in a contractual arrangement where you're a student enrolled at a university and I'm teaching a course and I'm required to adhere to a certain standard in order to give you a grade, even that relationship doesn't obtain. If I'm not your financial advisor, I'm not a politician who you voted into office, if I'm not somebody that you are in a straight up contractual arrangement with, what the fuck do I owe you? What you fact checking for? What you assessing and analyzing for? For what? What's the point?
I would ask all the same questions. Again, I say the point is them proving something to themselves. I mean,
my whole thing is, again, why would you even give a fuck about some random motherfucker on YouTube? And you gotta go assess their character and go dig through the shit that they're talking about and go through it with it. Man, dude, if either you like it or you don't. Either you vibe with the motherfucker or you don't. You don't vibe, okay, holla at you. See you later.
They need some filler, for content. They run it short,
Short of ideas.
SYSBM versus BGS bringing black women to the table. They don't got nothing, man.
I like that. They're short of ideas, man. If you're short of ideas and somebody got good ideas, that's going to, shine a lot of darkness on your light.
I'm just saying, look, I'm not saying no names because I'm not getting into the whole bullshit right now because I don't feel like going back and forth, getting into a whole bunch of lip wrestling. But I did make the SBE video, which is some petty shit. But I'm like, at the end of the day, like the guy said, earlier, I showed, his chat. And to me, the whole concept of SBE is like you bitching about niggas bitching.
Pretty much.
Like, so you gonna take the time to bitch about niggas bitching?
I mean, if you ain't got no idea, that's a good idea at the time.
Well, that's what I want. I need your email because I wanted to send you and BGS Kabbalah, Jewish Kabbalah. I hate trying to pronounce it.
Kabbalah. Yeah.
Kabbalah. That'll solve that whole conversation of why it's flawed. Because, women don't like being shamed, first of all.
But so nobody likes being shamed.
Yeah, no one does, yeah.
Nobody likes to be shamed. But the whole point, look, I get what SBE is about. It's like, okay, you're talking to these chicks, it ain't gonna change them. Okay, well, so we get that. We already understand that. I've been saying this for the longest. Like, if you ain't got the power of life and death, then you have no power. That's the start of the beginning of political power is the ability to punish. If you don't have the ability to punish, you have no political power. The only thing you have is moral authority or something like that. And then people have to consent to that. They have to agree to allow themselves to be subjected to your moral authority. But if you can't punish a motherfucker, and I'm talking about either incarcerate them, commit corporal punishment against them, or murder them, or kill them. If you don't have that form of punishment, or, to incapacitate somebody, to put them, in a state where they can't move, you don't have any power. The beginning of political power is the ability to punish people. That's it. That's the start of it. Now, some people don't agree with that. I know that, like, if you look at the social contract tradition, that's all they talk about. How the state of nature is, like, for Hobbes, is solitary, nasty, brutish, and short. Every man has to be his own defense mechanism. There's no peace. Everybody's at war with everybody else. Anything can happen at any moment. Anybody can take your shit, your property. And the force of the person with the most force is their shit.
So at the root of it, you got to punch somebody in the mouth.
Well, the root of it is you give up a portion of your rights to the state who enforces law so that you don't have to enforce it. So people enforce, there's a system of laws and a set of rights that people have that they know that they have, that they possess, and that everybody else is aware of, so you know what not to do.
So the state punches them in the mouth for me, right?
The state will punch them in the mouth for you. What
happens when the state don't come to bat for you?
Well, then
that sucks for you.
Well, Hobbes would say and Locke would say that the state doesn't exist for you.
And how many of us could say we've experienced that?
Well, of course, that's the quintessential question about being black in the United States. Like, are you part of the social contract? It's clear. If the state tells you have no rights that they're bound to respect, which is what they said in Dred Scott, black men have no rights that white people are bound to respect or required to respect. There literally is a fucking Supreme Court Justice Taney who said that.
Seems like a lot of people believe that
I'm just
today.
saying, like, that's the state. If you're a slave, you're in a state of war. Because you have no political rights. The state is not working in your behalf. It's not working to protect your life. The slave, your life is subject to the whim of the master. He can kill you if he wants. Your liberty. Shit, you're not free. As a slave, you're not free. Property. You are property, which can be disposed of at the whim of the master. So in that regard, think about it. If you have no life, liberty, or property, why are you subjected to the laws of the state? You exist outside of the social contractual arrangement. You have no obligation to follow the rules. In fact, you're a sucker to the extent, if those conditions are obtained, you're a sucker for following the rules. Or you're under such duress that if you don't follow the rules, your life might be forfeited. And that's why it's intimidation that created, obeisance to that kind of social structure. The threat of death, intimidation. Those are the only things that'll make a person, like, acknowledge and, implicitly follow the rules in a system like that. But white people, like, didn't they, when they broke from the crown, what did they say? Give me liberty or what?
Give me death.
So they were willing to fight for theirs, right?
Right.
They were willing to die for theirs, right?
Yep.
And the question becomes a matter of, are you willing to die?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or are you willing to put your life on the line for your own freedom? I mean, and black people have exhibited, like, yes, we will. I mean, there have been times when, people have been like, well, no, I'm not going to resist. It would be suicide. But I mean, there have been times when black people have like committed those revolutionary acts of suicide. Like, fuck it. I'd rather die than to have to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
The truth is,
But
I
you
know
know
what's
what though?
cracking.
Even in the context of history though,
Green
that doesn't
Gorilla,
get
what's
talked
going
about.
on?
What's happening?
So, I'm part of this fuck shit too, and I'm
I
here
know you
for
part of the fuck shit. I'm cool with it. Go ahead. I don't look. As long as you're not disrespectful, you can have any contrarian opinion you want, bro.
I'm not a dude who likes to be disrespectful. Now, hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm not a guy who likes to be disrespectful at all. Because the code on the streets is you demand respect and you give respect. And if you don't give respect, you can get your head knocked off. So, you can only fuck with people for so long before you're going to have some serious smoke. Well, one of the issues within the Black Manosphere, one of the reason I'm going at your homeboy's neck, like I've been doing, is because they're on some fuck shit too. You see it, they see it, we all see it, and I'm just trying to call it out. It's not personal. Frankly, Green Gorilla, I tend to like you. I like BGS. I like Ed. I think all these are good dudes, but it's some fuck shit going on. Because what we have in the Black Manosphere is some dudes who claim to be Ibmore. They say they don't want to get married. They're not going to be, they don't want to have kids. And they came into this space because they wanted to unearth the facts about the black community and the relationships between black men and black women. And when I came into this space, I got a white wife and they don't like that shit. So, I don't really like you around too close to me because you got a white wife and all that bullshit. But we all have the same mission in that we don't like the gynocracy and we wanted to change. And we talk about it. So the divide here now, the problem that we're having is we got this space called the Black Manosphere. And we thought the mission was to obliterate the Black Manosphere. But what it turns out is a lot of these dudes who claim that they want to destroy the Black Manosphere, a lot of times they're in the back chat with these same silly hoes that they say they want to stay away from. That's all they deal with, right? I mean, I'm not going to name names, but you know who they are. It always comes out. It's all these loudmouths that want to shame, blame, and explain. But on the back end, we know what they're doing. And I really don't care what they do in their personal lives with that. But what I do see is that there's a hive mind. There's this blackmail, Keisha bashing, shame, blaming, and explain hive mind, which is thoroughly entertaining. And it's where black men commiserate together. It's where black men commiserate together because many of us have been traumatized. Shit, I got 3 black mothers, 2 black sisters. I grew up around black women. And let me tell you.
Whoa, slow up. You got what?
3 black mothers.
Bro.
My dad has been married 3 times.
Okay. I get it
fair
now.
enough.
Right? I got
understand
2
now. Okay. I get
right?
it.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm a son of the gynocracy as much as anybody else. That's why I can't stand the shit. I try to stay the hell away. That's what I tell black men to do. But with this hive mind, what we're doing now, we're seeing that black men are focusing in on the worst types of women, and it draws numbers. It's entertaining. It can be cathartic. But the problem is that it doesn't move the needle for black men where, let's just say it's a 21-year-old man. He's just coming into this world. He's in school. Maybe, he's in college still. And he comes across the Black Manosphere. Well, if this was my son, I would say, son, I want you to if you're going to start a family, get married first, have some children, and find a quality, submissive, cheerful, family building warrior. A woman who loves the shit out of you, who has reverence for you, who's going to be a great wife and a great mother, who's well educated, who's a hard worker, all that good stuff, bro, all that good stuff. And in the Black Manosphere, I'm seeing grown men who don't talk about that shit at all. So to me, it looks like, and to many of us, it looks like that we have black men that are commiserating and trauma bonding. And yeah, okay, it's not the correct definition, but it's the, what do you call it? The connotative definition, where you got black men like, man, these women fucked us up, right? They fucked us up. And this is crazy because they gaslit us for 50 years. And now this is a real experience that black men went through, including myself. We all have. We're like, what the fuck happened? Well, some of us, because we've been in the Black Manosphere longer than you, Green Gorilla. So for you, you're kind of just coming into space maybe a couple years now. I've been in here a few more years than you. And when I hear you speak, I'm like, you're one of us. Maybe outside of this maybe super pro-black stuff, but I think you're more of one of us, where you are willing to cut the cord and tell black men to lay down the law with women. There's no simping. Stop giving them your pipe. Stop giving them your attention. Like,
some of these brothers ain't gonna do that, right?
They still love these women. I still
love it. It is what it is.
Well,
but you got to tell them.
Look, here's my take on this shit, right? Look, I can't. What I'm not gonna do is prescribe behavior for men who are grown. Okay, I'm not gonna look. Like, for example, you're a grown ass man, right? You already got a white wife, right? Right? I mean, am I lying about this? Like, so what good is it going to do for me to say you fucked up and fucking this white chick? It doesn't make any sense. It's a choice you already made. You're tethered to that woman. And I don't know if you got children or not, but if you do have children, you're fucking tethered to her. Who am I to tell you what you can do with your dick? I'm not here to tell you that. I've been saying that shit for the past 3 years. The only thing I am saying is this. The only thing I've ever said is this to men about relationships. That, for one, I'm not a relationship coach. I can't steer you to how you should act and interact with these chicks out here, man. I can't. But what I can tell you is you have a system, and it's not, and this is what I say. It's not just black women who have this system. The system in and of itself is steered towards benefiting women in general. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, and I think that if you are a masculinist, you have to work to try to change the laws and to show people or to demonstrate to people this shit is unjust. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to fucking do on your job, bro. That's a whole different set of of issues and like a whole different set of phenomena. I'm not trying to, like, if you're going to eat a sandwich that's like a Dagwood. You ever heard of a Dagwood sandwich or some shit that's like a submarine sandwich, but it's so big?
Yeah, I have.
Bro, you can't bite that motherfucker all the way at one time. You can't just take the motherfucking sandwich in your mouth and chew it all at once. You got to take bites off the motherfucker. Now, to me, I'm saying, look, I know for a fact I don't have the wherewithal to make sure if men are employed. I don't, man.
Neither do I. I wish I did.
If I ruled the world like Nas, what would I do? That's if was the fifth shit. I can't make sure that all men are gainfully employed and they have the right attitude to be gainfully employed and have the right attitudes while they are employed to matriculate up the ladder of success. The corporate, blue collar ladder, whatever, the entrepreneurial sector. I don't have that ability to inspire men to do that shit because I'm not there with them.
Okay, Greg Gorilla, let me tell you where I align with what you're saying, because you were saying this earlier. So I believe I understand your position. And I think where we align is, when people talk about skills and resources, we can't say that we all have to talk about skills and resources because that's what's best and that's what we need. It's not something that everyone can do and should do, and it's not necessarily what's best. And so I'm with you. What I would say, though, and I know you'd agree with this, it would be better if the Black Manosphere had more content creators driving that home. That doesn't mean any one particular person has to go do that, but that would be better for the Black manosphere as a whole. I think we could all agree with that. Now,
say that one more time. I just want to make sure that
I'm not saying
clear. I'm clear on what it is that you're articulating when you're talking about that. Like, say that again, though.
I'm saying that when AM1 talks about skills and resources and man of tomorrow, when they say that, and I don't think that they're not saying this, but let's pretend that they are. If they said 100% of us should always talk about skills and resources and nothing else, I would say that that wouldn't be best for the Black manosphere. It's not really possible, and I don't even know if it's something that I don't think it's something that we should do or even attempt to do. But I would say is that more Black men within the Black manosphere should be pushing skills and resources, even if that's not the main theme of their content. But it should be something a better theme within this space, because it's healthy for younger men to come across older men speaking in that way.
I get that. I can understand that. I'm not opposed to critiquing or being critiqued. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I
hear you, bro. You get some smoke that, honestly, I think it's undeserved. Some smoke you deserve, maybe.
And I don't care about
like we all
smoke
do.
if it's the smoke about an idea or a disagreement about a concept. But like ad hominem attacks, that's some bullshit.
Okay, let me tell you where I disagree.
Can I say something real quick?
Well, let me finish where I disagree. Or really, I just want to give you some pushback on this. Because what you're saying is that, well, you can't tell Black men just to leave, Keisha alone. That's who he likes. That's who he had relationships with. That's his baby's mother. That's his wife, or whatever it is. And I agree with you there. I 100% agree with you there. But that's not my position. I don't say that. I don't tell Black men don't deal with Black women. I would never say that. That's insanity. I actually say Black men should deal with Black women. Just make sure you do it on your terms and you do it right. But what I look at with the Black manosphere, and this is what I'm seeing, is that there's a hive mind. And this hive mind is creating a culture, and this culture is spreading, right? It's memetics. It's like memetic warfare, where ideas penetrate people's minds, and once they go in, they don't come out of their minds. And when they do come out, and the way they actually do come out is they share these ideas with other people, and these ideas start to spread.
What's wrong with that?
Well, the problem with the hive mind that we have now is, it doesn't teach Black men how to foster healthy relationships with women out in this environment that's ever changing, right? The environment is changing.
Can I jump in real quick here? Because I haven't said much, because I was
let me finish what I'm saying. Let me finish, because I just want to make this point. Is what I would like to see the Black manosphere do is critique the gynocracy. That's fine. I don't have any problems with that. But at the same time, what I would like to see is Black men get a hold of our own family structure. Like, be serious about your own family structure. We need to tell each other to stop having kids out of wedlock. I mean, that's something that we've been doing, right? We know that. But put, back in the 90s, I'm Generation X, you are too. We used to talk about checking bitches. Like, you got to check this bitch. You got to put her in check. And that don't mean we're disrespecting women and treating them like children. But what it really means is, like, look, woman, I need you to want me to check you, because you're powerful, because you're strong, because you're educated, and sometimes you step off the cliff. You'll step on that train track, and the train is coming, and you might end up getting yourself hit. So when I tell you the train's coming, I need you to say, yes, sir, and get off that train. So I need you to want me to put you in check when it's time to put you in check. And have Black men talk to women confidently, eager. Like, that's how Black men need to look at their own family structure. Like, I ain't playing around with you women. This is serious business. That's why all this shame, blame, and explain bullshit, that's what I don't like, because it's actually the opposite of that. It's Black male weakness. Like, I was a player in the game. I used to run through hoes, but I also know how to run a family.
Let me interject. Okay? Let me just say this. Okay, so look, I get the attitude. Like, be no nonsense, develop some standards, don't waffle and oscillate like a fan, and, you know, be stern and stand up for yourself in one occasion and then just start capitulating and giving the woman whatever the fuck she wants as soon as she cries or bitches or complains, which I think is a problem, okay? I'm not going to say I haven't done it because I have. Okay, I've been on some.
We all have. We all simp.
Some simp shit to a certain extent. I'm just gonna be real. Like, I'm not here to play games and shit. I've made some mistakes, but I mean, in the end, sometimes when you put your foot down, it's a backlash for having done it. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, I myself personally, I have 2 children. Woman told me, I want a car. I'm like, well, shit, nigga, my name is Elmer J. Fudd. I want a mansion and a fucking yacht. Like, the shit, you think I don't want shit? You just like you want shit, I want shit. Now, the question is, how we gonna plan together and actually, you know, to get the shit? Now, now, in my viewpoint, you want some shit because you want it. That's not telling me that you really actually need the shit. You desire it, but you don't fucking need it. You want it because you want to look a certain way or, you know, represent yourself in a certain kind of fucking way. I'm not willing to subsidize that shit. Fuck that shit. You want it, you got credit. You got a motherfucking, you know, a job or whatever. Go get the shit your goddamn self. Stop asking me to do shit that I ain't ready to do. I'm running on my own program. The bitch walked out because she wanted what she wanted. So fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But it was others. Look.
Well, congratulations. That's how you handle it, right? I mean, you know, women, your baby's mom is different, but that's how you handle it. Let me just say this shit, though. But women today have the idea that you being in control is controlling. They're going to start, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you should like waffle and oscillate and dither and shit. I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is that there's a narrative out there that you demanding certain forms of behavior or you not capitulating and giving a motherfucker exactly what they want, they start labeling that or characterizing that shit as controlling. Yes, I want control. Yes, it is controlling. That's exactly right. I want control to win, and I want her to have control. But we got to win. We got to be on that same page. So that's what I'm saying. As black men, we can't run from that.
Complaining about them trying to create a culture that doesn't even make sense, bro.
What I'm saying is we got to create the culture for ourselves, and we got to stop acting like bitches and weak men who SBE and sad boy crybabying over these weird ass chicks. Like, like you got to,
but to create a culture, you have
this
to
is what I'll say.
understand the current culture, bro.
Hey, look at this shit. This is what I'll say. I think motherfuckers expect for some people to be at certain places and at certain levels all across the board. You're demanding more. Like say for example, I'm just using an analogy, right? If you're like in a dojo, you got motherfuckers who coming in who are white belts. You got motherfuckers who got brown belts, green belts, blue belts, whatever the fucking case. Then you got people who are black belts in various degrees, right? Or let's say, for example, let me use another analogy. You ever heard of Six Sigma?
Yes.
You got different people who are, you know,
green belt, black belt, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They have different levels of expertise as it pertains to statistics and learning Six Sigma, right? I'm right about this, okay? Yeah. So you can't expect for everybody to be at the same fucking level at the same time. You got some people coming in and they're gonna be bitching and complaining because they're hurt about what they're going through. Like, I don't know about you, but it's painful to have your child alienated from you and then you gotta pay child support. So there's a place for it. I'm not saying that you gotta be stuck in it and never get out of it, but there are some guys who are there and they need some place to vent and to conversate about the shit that they got in terms of troubles and struggles. There has to be some place. We can't just tell these motherfuckers, you're a bitch ass nigga.
Yes, we can.
You can.
We can. But why? Why can't we? Why can't we?
I'm saying this. I'm not saying you have to be soft all along the lines.
That's what it sounds like. Respectfully, it sounds like you're being a little soft on these brothers out here. Just a little soft.
Truth, man. This is what I'm saying. Let's say for a nigga, a motherfucker just got divorced. This motherfucker has everything that he worked for pretty much damn near taken away from him. Now he finds out he got to pay $2,000-$3,000 a month in child support and shit. And this motherfucker hurt. Now, I could be like, nigga, fuck you, bitch ass nigga. You was a bitch, you a sucker ass nigga. Fuck you, nigga. You deserve that shit. Or I can say, what happened to you was unjust. I commiserate with you. And how it's fucked up for you, you need to tell your story so other men can understand it, so they don't fall into the same kind of danger zone that you found yourself in. So they don't have to go through that shit.
Right.
It's one thing. Look, all I'm saying is that black men are human beings too. Not do they need to toughen up to some degree? Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't. But I'm saying, look, I'm not gonna treat every man who I come across like General Patton slapping the shit out of the shell shock shoulder and tell us get his bitch ass back on the battlefield.
Well, I mean, you got to even in that same breath. It's like, are we gonna go back in time and call all slaves bitch ass niggas to complain about being slaves? Like, you got to be honest about where the fuck you at.
I am being honest. Now,
no, you're not.
My
no,
language
not,
is
bro.
a little spicy.
No, you are not.
No, I definitely am. Okay, I definitely am. I've been a player in the streets, and I know how to run a family. Okay, I know what I'm talking about.
Do with the law,
Let me stop you. Let me stop you both.
Go ahead, brother.
So take for example this guy here, right? He says, I'm 45. I found this space 3 years ago, and I'm still processing and reflecting on a lifetime of shit. So what I know some guys, like, you know, you have the boot camp mentality, like, okay, we're gonna whip these niggas into shape and turn them into G's and shit, you know, a family man. And, you know, I've seen some of the shit you said. Look, all I'm gonna say is this, bro.
Yeah, thank you. I don't need luck. I need help. That's what I need. I need help.
What is that based
That's
on?
what I need. I need help.
What is
we
that
can
based
do
on?
it. Listen, this is my point. This is what I was saying earlier, okay? Now, my language is a little spicy. I mean, if you know me, I'm not going to tell black men you're a bitch, nigga, because you got divorced or you had kids out of wedlock. I don't do that stuff. I mean, come on, man. That's cartoon bullshit. I don't do that. But what I am saying, though, is we got all these black men with money, with resources. We've got all these podcasters with great equipment. We've got the ears of millions of black men. What I'm saying is that right here within the black manosphere, we got a group of black men, and primarily we have these conversations about black women or women in general. And what I'm saying is that if we could just tilt this universe like 1 degree, 3 degrees, and tilt it where instead of we're commiserating, like, we can still do that. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I agree with you. Guys are coming in at different times. We need to be tender with guys. We got to be, you got to be forgiving. You want to be respectful. So I'm not saying we should be hardcore, but what I am saying, though, is that we can really reshape black culture in a major way because we are a mimetic warfare machine. Now, many of us, we're sons of the gynocracy. I'm kind of like, maybe a one-off just because where I was raised and why I was raised the way I was. And so, I was like a street kid, a young kid. So there's no way I could have problems with women because I already had too much other bullshit going on. Problems with women would have been my death, put me in the grave. So, but what I'm saying though, is that if we could just take like a little bit of that and just say, as black men, like, think of ourselves as family men. And if you're going to get a black man seed, it ain't just me saying this, it's all of us saying this within the black manosphere, and we're teaching this to other black men. We're bouncing these ideas off each other's head, and we go, if you're going to have a baby with a black man, just know this, whether you're a black woman, white woman, Asian woman, Latino woman, you're going to have your head on straight. You're going to have to be a quality, cheerful, feminine, warm woman. If you're not going to get a black man seed. And I know a lot of black men don't believe it. They go, hell no, she got a big booty. I just give it to her. But we say it anyway.
Where's your army that's going to enforce that?
I think
you, AB, Green Gorilla, BGS, Edward, AM1, all of us. Let's look at that entire list of the black manosphere and all the men that talk about women. It's like,
so let me say this though. Okay, so like this is my encouragement for the people who are between 25 and 34.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I would tell them. And I've already told young black men this. Now you know how people in American culture are though, man. Like there's no way that you enforce behavior. You can't, the only way that you can do what you're asking to be done is to actually shame niggas into doing it.
Yep.
Now, and the reason I say that is because it's not like we have religious institutions like Islam where we can be like, you're an infidel if you don't do what the fuck we tell you to do.
And that's what you can look at the nation of Islam.
No, I'm just
wait, but we don't got.
The only way you can
on
get
the religion
niggas
is
to do that
YouTube.
shit. The only way you can get niggas in
It's
America
shaming.
to be on that program is through a moral code. That's it. That's as far as you can go with it.
That's
That's why I'm
part of my-
confused about your
I disagree.
argument. 'Cause
I
you doing the
disagree.
same
Hold on,
thing.
wait a
You
minute.
shaming
I
and blaming.
disagree because we
That's-
already
wait a minute,
created a
that's
hive
part of
mind. We already created this hive mind. We already created a real life culture that's spreading like a virus. I mean, you got
It's
Africans
a culture, though. It's
talking
not-
about
okay,
Keisha.
So this is look. I'm just getting.
So why
I'm
don't we
trying
just
I'm
build a better culture for
true.
black men?
This is look. I don't have a problem with aspirations. Okay. What as a thinker, I'm going to say, what are the impediments or the obstacles or the hurdles that exist from making what I envision idealistically from being able to be brought to fruition in reality? Okay. So this is one of the things I think that black people need to do.
Well, the thing is, you haven't thought about it, Green Gorilla. This is new to you. So you're suffering from cognitive dissonance because it's very simple. We already built the infrastructure right here in the black manosphere.
Bro, it's the social. This is a social media. It's an online community, bro.
Right, but we created a culture of Keisha bashing and SBE. That's normal now. Like, that's the culture.
But bro,
it's spreading like wildfire. You can see it everywhere.
In the Nation of Islam, there's Keisha bashing in the Black Panther Party. Like,
they don't got what we got,
Vector.
Vector.
New.
They don't got what we got.
What?
They don't got. That's what I'm saying.
They had an actual nation, bro. They had actual infrastructure, actual fucking program.
That was a long time ago. We've got microphones and the media, and we're getting in the black man's ear at every turn. They wake up in the morning, they listen to you. Anytime you pop off a video, they're gonna listen to you.
Bruh,
what I'm saying is, okay, there's a book called is it The Selfish Gene? What's the book by?
Let me jump in real quick, bro. There's people in the black manosphere that bitch
Doc
about
yes.
They bitch about education, but you're talking in the Huey P. Newton was a fucking lawyer, bro. Like,
This is
not something.
He didn't have
new.
a media
People
machine,
have
though,
tried
brother.
It, bro.
He didn't have a media machine. We got a media machine right here. We can
can't be serious,
propagandize
bro.
ourselves. I don't understand how this isn't
Malcolm
clear.
X was at the
This is cognitive
at
dissonance.
the UN. What are you talking about?
So I'm
Do you
gonna
know
ask
what
a question
how
that
propaganda
I
works?
ask people when they want me to do something. What better man is gonna come make me do it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. Like when it gets to the point where it's an argument, okay, we can't agree to disagree. Now, what better man is gonna come make me do it?
This is what I think. Okay, so here's my solution to your problem. I think truth is I know it. Okay. But it's not the solution that you want.
What's the problem?
The
said my problem. What's my
the,
problem?
The problem is you want to be able to rebuild the institution of family life for black men so that we can begin to move away from the warped, distorted, and the disadvantaged backgrounds. And
That's not really what I'm saying, though. That's not really what I'm saying.
But to a certain degree, you have to, like, if you talk about the gynocracy and then you talk about the value system of black people now and the kind of moral depravity that you see, and some people say that, I'm promoting that. Look, at the end of the day, here's the deal, right?
What you're saying is you're not
family,
addressing
look,
my point, though.
The point is you want family warriors.
Yes.
And I'm saying this, that there's institutions that exist that are fucking exploding the family, not just for black folks, but for white folks, Hispanic folks, Asian folks. And we've outlined the institutions that have done this. Okay?
Yes.
And look, I'm saying that, like, you got to go against the momentum, not only of attitudes and like the way people feel and they think, but you also have to change institutions and laws and policies in order to get people to think about family life being something that, is an option as opposed to, like family life just being, some tangential thing related to their lives. Because I mean, at the contemporary moment, the moment we live in today's society, it's not about family building. It's about individuals being able to enjoy lives of hedonism, unobstructed and free from anybody else impeding on what they perceive to be the good life.
Exactly. It's about the vice president of the United States that's not even black, calling herself a black person and then twerking in the White House talking about WAP is a fucking female empowerment for black women. Like what do you have to say about that, bro?
No, but I don't think he has to address that. But all I'm saying is this, man. And look, I'm extending an olive branch to the truth as I know it, because I know a lot of people think that like all I do is just hate on certain motherfuckers in the black manosphere. That's not the case. The only thing I dislike and I have an aversion to is disrespect. And I'll even entertain disrespect for an interim period. But if I feel like it's ongoing, then it moves from disrespect to like a gross violation of my dignity. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna be like, well, fuck. Then I'm gonna be like, okay, fuck you then.
Nobody likes disrespect.
And then I might not say, well, I'm not gonna say anything. But the whole point is, if you keep fucking with me, you gonna fuck around and find out.
Right.
Whether you like it or not. And before I became a PhD, I was a human being. Before all of the titles, like this, and this is another thing I really hate about men in this space, trying to dictate what I'm supposed to be like characterologically, predicated upon a fucking title that you already don't have respect for anyway.
Right.
So don't talk to me about how I should conduct myself with a doctoral degree when you don't even respect the doctoral degree, from the begin with. It's something that you look at like that makes me contemptuous in your eyes.
Right.
So don't tell me how I'm supposed to behave or act. I could be a friend to a lot of motherfuckers who've made themselves my enemy based on social media shit.
All right, but the thing is, though, Green Gorilla, some of this disrespect is hilarious. Like your song, that shit was funny as hell. I was cracking up. It was funny.
It's funny.
It was funny.
All I'm trying to do is draw out the sarcasm and the attitudes that people have and the shit that they're saying and the shit that they're doing. Now, I know it's offensive to some. I know it's off-putting to some. But at least I tried to make fun of it instead of just being like a full blasted asshole about it. I'm like, maybe if I point, like, create a portrait or a mirror where people can see themselves and what they're doing, maybe they'll be like, okay, I'm a little bit, I'm tripping some. But motherfuckers just double down on the bullshit.
I would say this, dude. None of us should take YouTube that seriously. And sometimes guys go overboard with the disrespect. And you've caught some heat, no doubt about that, Green Gorilla. And so, like, your video was funny, but when I saw Amanda Tomorrow's thumbnail, that was funny, too. You see that thumbnail?
Yeah,
that had me cracking up.
With the gorilla.
With the gorilla in the prison uniform.
I'm like, man, look, I'm cool. Look, you can make fun of me, but just don't lie about me. That's the only thing I say. Don't say that
don't be disingenuous.
Don't say I'm stealing money from people when I'm not.
Right.
Don't say that, like I'm grifting from people. Like there's a group of unsuspecting, miserable men, and they're all giving me money because like I just feed their trauma or some shit. Like, come on, bro.
Okay, let me give you guys some pushback.
That's bullshit to me, man. Like, look, let me just say this. Also, don't tell me what I need to be doing. Like, I despise another motherfucking man who will not be told what to do, telling other men what the fuck they need to do.
Yep.
I despise that because it's
drop
insincere.
a bomb on that one.
It's a double standard. You can't tell a man what the fuck he ought to be doing, but you will take no input, no influence from anybody else but yourself.
But again,
It's
all we talking about
bullshit.
develop character flaws. It's character flaw. How you gonna tell somebody else you wouldn't do for yourself?
Yeah, but that's been going on in the manosphere since.
All I ask for, look, nobody is gonna like everybody. It's impossible. It's niggas in my fraternity I don't like. But I'm not gonna be like pressing the issue with this motherfucker. I'm gonna avoid the nigga. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to wreck the nigga.
Hey,
It is what it is. It's some motherfuckers you're gonna have to get into it with.
Let me get out of here. I got some ribeyes and some baby backs. Well, I got some baby backs on the smoker. I need to go check on that. It's been too long. But let me say one thing about this, though. The beauty and the genius and the brilliance of the black manosphere, no matter where we stand, and SBE or skills and resources or building families or, whatever you're on, right? We got a list. We got a group of men. We fight. We're entertaining. Like, I like the guys that I crack jokes on and drag. I like these dudes. I actually like them. I've been on lots of panels and lots of conversations. So this is very impersonal with me. But what I would say, though, is that let's understand what we have. We have a propaganda machine, right? So if you take what Joseph Goebbels said, right? He was the propaganda minister for Hitler in Nazi Germany. And he said, if you repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it. and you'll even come to believe it yourself. And what I'm saying, that with the Black Manosphere, we have our own propaganda machine. We have a tool, an extremely useful tool of mimetic warfare. And if we actually organized it right and we talked about the right things, we could change Black culture in ways that we might not be able to envision right now. And so if you looked at the Black Manosphere 7 years ago, we had no idea that this is what was going to happen. It was going to expand and be this big and be this popular around the country. And if we just keep hammering away, but we get on the same page and we talk, instead of all this fuck shit, we actually start to get on the same page, and maybe we clean up our racks, and maybe we talk about things we don't necessarily want to talk about at times, but we could help really transform Black culture over the years in ways that we wouldn't expect. And I think we have that power, and there's a lot of research on propaganda and mimetic warfare that's out there that says that this is true. So I'm out of here. Later.
Peace out, man. I will say this to you as you baste your ribs and shit. I think you're overly optimistic about the kind of power that exists here. Now, I'm not saying but I think one can argue, hey, look, who was it that I was listening to today? I don't know if it was Donnie Simpson. I think it was Donnie. This motherfucker used to do the, what was it called? Soul, BET Soul, or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. But he said, hey, man, shoot for the moon, shoot for the stars. You might land on the moon. This is Donnie Simpson. Hey. So look, I get it, man. Shoot for the stars, man. You might land on the moon. Okay, I get it. Okay, I'm a realist though. I'm thinking critically and carefully about what's possible and potentially, serviceable related to what we actually have here. I think that public spheres, and this is what I think the Manosphere is. It's an online community that is a part of the public sphere.
Right.
And we have the ability to impact the trajectory of reason itself, how people think about things and issues. I think we have the capacity to influence decision making, okay? And the way people perceive phenomena. And I think we should talk. I think everybody should talk. I'm not saying that the difference between me and some other guys in the Manosphere is that some people think that other people should be silenced.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody should be silenced. I don't want to, I'm not going to try to silence MOT. I'm not going to try to silence the truth as I know it. I'm not going to try to silence AM1. Only thing I'm going to say is, man, stop trying to tell me that I can't say anything. If it gets knocked down in the marketplace of ideas, let it take its natural course. Don't tell me to stop saying it because you're going to demand that I not say it. Just let it lose steam in the marketplace of ideas. That's how you do this shit.
But
let the forceless force of the better argument hold sway. And if there's a disagreement, white people disagree all the fucking time, man.
Yeah.
But they find a way to get shit done together, even amidst their disagreement. And the reason that they're able to do it is because they actually have institutions. But what I think is happening is men in the Manosphere think that this is an institution.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's an online community, but it's not an institution. Now, could it morph? Can institutions springboard from this space? Yes. I think damn Skippy it could. I know it's kind of nerdy for me to say damn Skippy, but damn right. It could. There's the potential for that to occur. But an institution is going to look different than an online community. It's just going to look different. Do I think men should be acquiring skills? Yes.
Yes.
But I think that there are better platforms that already exist that you can funnel people to as opposed to trying to reinvent the wheel in terms of acquiring skills.
Not jump in right there where you get in real quick, Gigi. As far as the skills too, also I don't think it's right for people to tell other people which skills are more valuable and which skills they should be getting. Because if you're talking about changing the culture and starting new communities, well, who's to say that the new community and new culture values the same skills and same stuff?
Exactly.
You go to another culture, a farmer is bigger than a business, you know, a IT guy. Or you go to another culture, you know, you might go to somewhere where the fucking is some NASCAR shit. It might be Alabama, where somebody who can race cars and is a mechanic is more valuable than a motherfucker who can sit behind a desk. So when guys sit back and say, well, you need to get these skills and invest in these stocks, and it's just like based on whose definition.
Yeah.
Like, look,
as far
all I can say is this. All you can do is make suggestions about what life plans people should be making related to like what they want to pick up or acquire in terms of skills. But sometimes I'm on some bullshit too, okay, in the Black Manosphere. Like, yeah, I admit I can be petty, okay? I have been. And whatever sins I've committed, I'm gonna have to pay for it, you know, whatever, okay? I admit that. But damn, man, like, you can suggest what people ought to do, but you can't make anybody do anything, man. Mm-hmm. Like, not in America. Like, if this was motherfucking medieval Islamic, you know, Arab, you know, this like the caliphate in motherfucking, I forget which one, but, you know, I don't have any real names to reference. But if we were some caliphate and Islam was the predominant religion of the day, and you know, like there were religious imams and they could like exercise temporal political power, then you might be able to force motherfuckers to do some shit.
Right.
But this is a liberal society based on hedonism.
Liberal country. Yep.
And it prevents the kind of cohesion. And I think this is the way these people set this shit up, especially the technocrats and the bureaucrats. They set this place up in such a way to prevent political cohesion and to get people to galvanize and to unite under like common causes and shit like that. And then you got like the racial issues going on. Now they created sexual issues, gender issues. It's so many fractions and factions that nobody knows where they stand anymore. Mm-hmm. But I would say this, in terms of acquiring skills, I would tell people, look, there's Skillshare. You got Coursera. You got Udemy, Khan Academy.
Yep.
Udacity. There's so many different online skill platforms with the content already there. Why would I try to recreate that content? It would take too long, but the funnel already exists. Maybe if you could, the thing to do would be to like, okay, let's get a group application. If a certain group of men that like say, okay, I want to learn this skill, then you get the motherfuckers, can we get a group discount? For learning these skills, whatever they are, if a group of guys want to learn those skills, that's how you approach that to me.
I do 3D and programming on my channel. So when it comes to skills, I try to show brothers. I don't get a lot of views often, but I do try to show brothers stuff.
Yeah, I've seen you work on projects while you're engaged, in conversations and shit like that. I've seen, various people do what they do while they're having conversations. My thing is, there's a way, if it is the case that you're going to create content to teach people skills, there's a way to do it to make it marketable. But even if you do it and make it marketable, there's so much competition, it's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's difficult, man.
Mm-hmm.
This shit ain't easy. It's not easy, bro.
No.
It's not. Now, my whole thing is, look, there's a lot of learning tools out here, man. Low cost. Mm-hmm. YouTube, Digital Garage.
Even free.
GitHub. MIT's got like open courseware.
Yeah, yep.
You got Stanford Online. You got Khan Academy. It's so many different ways you can learn things. It's out there. The question is, what do you want to learn? Now, the reason I said I'm not into skills, building within the manosphere is because I'm assuming that men already know how to, engage with the technology in order to inform themselves. Now, maybe that's an oversight on my part. Okay? But I'm like, dude, like if I'm teaching a group of college students, I'm already assuming that you have the requisite skills to write a term paper. I don't feel like I should have to go through the fucking the process of teaching you how to develop an outline and how to argue and put, words together such that you can make a cogent and a valid argument. I don't feel like I can't go back and do remedial work to get you to that point. You need to have a certain skill set when you come to my table or when you come to my room. If you don't have it, you're gonna struggle. I'm sorry. It's like being say for example, you're applying for a job as a lifeguard, right? But you can't swim 500 yards. You can't tread water with a 10-pound brick for fucking a minute. Dude, you're not gonna get the job. You're not gonna do the job the way it ought to be done. You don't have the requisite skills to do the job. You gotta go back and do the other training you need in order to get to where you can be happy and comfortable where I am.
Right.
But I don't have to, look, I'm already like, dude, I'm doing the best I can to teach people what I know. And it might be unimportant to some motherfuckers, and that's fine. I'm not expecting for everybody to latch on to the shit that I do or like to resonate with the shit that I'm speaking about. But the brilliance of like some place like YouTube is you don't have to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not your cup of tea, then guess what you can do? You can swipe left.
Swipe.
You can
That's
swipe
why I
right.
don't understand some of these dudes. They spend hours and hours listening to people that they don't agree with, and I keep saying to myself, okay, I just click off or unsubscribe if somebody's doing too much, and they'll never hear from me again.
I just want to do this though. Before I even move forward, I want to make a distinction.
Okay.
There is a difference between learning platforms, resources, and community forums.
Mm-hmm.
They each have different purposes, right?
Right.
Now, do men need safe spaces to talk about sensitive and specific issues like men's issues? Yes.
Yes, they do.
Do men need places where they can talk about the therapeutic benefits of sharing experiences and their issues with peers who are going through some of the same things? Yes.
Yes.
There are popular examples of forums and communities like Reddit, men's libs, men's rights type shit, where they discuss all kinds of shit and they operate like in such a way that they try to share their objectives. Okay? Now, black people are terrible. Black men are like absolutely dismal at organizing.
Yeah, we are.
But
as a group, I'd agree.
But when it comes to online learning, it's different. There's a difference between a structured learning platform or a resource platform like Skillshare or Coursera and a community forum. An online learning platform is strictly about skill acquisition and knowledge development. But a community forum is about like having discussions, getting support, and sharing experiences. Now, it's up to you to determine what's important to you. Mm-hmm. But they're both, to me, are important. Okay? And they can be complementary. All right? But at the end of the day, don't force people to do shit best because it aligns with your ideas and values and then say, to hell with everybody else, like you're some sort of pope issuing a papal bull, and you're gonna excommunicate motherfuckers who don't agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's childish to me. This is unrealistic, and the reason it is really unrealistic is because nobody here is in the boss of this platform.
Right.
Right.
Who's gonna punch
Nobody's the boss of YouTube.
It?
Nobody in the Black Manosphere is the boss of YouTube. Nobody here can get anybody off of this platform except for through flagging, community flagging.
Right.
Which is some bitch shit.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I got flagged today for making a comment, which it was insulting. I told the motherfucker, how does this dick taste? He ain't painted your face yet, it was ignorant. But damn, you a man. You coming on, you being trollish, but now you don't want to get trolled though.
But that go back to the earlier statement about the levels. I mean, it's levels to it. Everybody's invited to the conversation, but everybody ain't qualified for the conversation. So,
bro, all I'm saying is don't come to me with some bullshit, curse me out, call me everything but a child of God, then act for me to, exhibit decorum and goodwill and to be temperate and to be in control and all of that. You're demanding that I behave in such a way that I don't fuck with you and call you out for the bullshit you want. You're demanding that I be the bigger man. I'm not MLK, motherfucker. I'm Pookie, nigga.
MLK wasn't that either. If you read what he was doing at near the end of his life.
I'm a Manosphere Pookie, motherfucker, and I don't care who don't like it. You don't like it, fuck it.
They're trying to treat you like they did the dating coaches and how they did the anybody who gets their audience through the trauma bond. I mean, there's different problems that people have in a manosphere.
Right.
And then it's usually somebody who comes into the manosphere and has a solution for one or more of those problems. And then the people who are there just to keep their audience through a trauma bond look at this person like, whoa, hold up. This dude is about to solve a trauma. And that's going to fuck my audience up. Because if somebody stops and starts learning, or somebody hits the gym, or somebody follows a dating coach and goes and gets some pussy, then this person going to stop following me. So it's a lot of motherfuckers that's hating on you, GG, just because you giving people knowledge.
Well, let me just say this, man. Look, you got detractors who basically say that these spaces are non-solution based, or at least there's some people in the space that don't propose solutions like they want them or outcomes. That's another way that they, articulate this. Mm-hmm. And so the argument is that by simply discussing problems without offering tangible or actionable solutions, that like we're failing to effectively address men's issues. That's the first thing. The second thing is they say that the space promotes a culture of victimhood and weakness, and that they believe that by encouraging men to open up about the struggles that they have, that they're inadvertently pushing the narrative of men as victims, which they perceive again as a form of bitch-assness or weakness. 3, they claim that these spaces are non-productive and they view them as places for endless trauma bonding or whatever, and no disrespect to truth as I know it, but it is what it is. Endless venting and complaining rather than constructive conversation and problem solving. And lastly, they argue that these places are anti-masculine. And they believe the spaces contradict traditional concepts of masculinity like strength, stoicism, self-reliance, that type of shit. Now, while these motherfuckers are vocal and persistent in expressing these ideas, I find a glaring absence of constructive suggestions by these guys. Mm-hmm. What skills are you sharing? What resources are you providing? I mean, I've yet to see channels if you want black men in the manosphere to acquire skills, teach skills. Mm-hmm. So just start teaching the skills. But I don't see any skill allocation. I don't see any resource provision. Are you getting motherfuckers jobs? You getting them grants? Are you funneling motherfuckers to networks where they're gonna make cash or get returns on their investment and shit like that? I don't see that happening. But their focus is on turn what they perceive to be problematic rather than actually building solutions themselves. I find that problematic.
Well, can I ask you, as a doctor of philosophy, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Where does this idea that being a victim or bonding over trauma is somehow weakness? Because last time I checked, there were plenty of colonists who bitched and moaned and thought they were victims of the United Kingdom and then ended up forming the United States of America. I also remember that there's a bunch of people who think they're victims of Nazi Germany and then went out and created the state of Israel that's kicking ass now too. So am I wrong in thinking that addressing your victimhood and trauma can also build strength, or am I just crazy?
You're not crazy. I always think that you got to have some sort of understanding of what you're actually engaged in and what you gotta know that you're oppressed in order to even respond to the oppression. You have to understand the ways in which you're getting fucked over in order to initiate a response or to offer up a response.
Okay, that's why I hit old boy. I was like, yo, do you even know where you at? And he was like, I know where I am. Like, bro, I don't think you do.
But look, at the end of the day, the only thing I can say is, man, I think that, a lot of guys, man, I think there's too much Jordan Peterson, pull yourself up, Horatio Alger bullshit going on in the Black Manosphere, bro. And look, I don't have a problem with motherfuckers bettering and improving themselves. I believe in skill acquisition. I believe in the enhancement of capacities and powers. I would never suggest that, you know, like, okay, you sit on, I assume you already know that you need to be improving yourself. That you need to be acquiring more skills.
That's
like
not
even
the case
me
for
fucking
everybody.
with my own channel, bro. I didn't know how to edit video. Now if I'm making videos, I guarantee you, like my intros and openers look dope as a motherfucker, don't they?
Yeah.
I did that shit myself. Ain't nobody doing it for me. I'm learning as I go along. Like I didn't have nobody record SBE for me. I recorded it myself. SBE. My content's some more. My pussy is sore. I didn't have nobody do it for me. I did it my damn self. I acquire skills and utilize my ability and my capacities to think and problem solve myself to do shit.
Mm-hmm.
I expect other people to be able to do the same.
We can expect it, but how many times do we actually get it?
Bro, look, I can't look. One thing, I ain't gonna make a motherfucker go to the gym. He got to get his ass up out the bed and go to the gym his damn self.
Yeah, look.
I
And being a
ain't
gym
babysitting
goer, how
nobody
many
now.
people ain't even, man? How many people ain't gonna get out the gym and get to bed and do nothing in the gym?
Bro,
They ain't even
you
finna
gotta
do a push up.
You got to get to the gym, motherfucker. If you can't get out, you can't roll out the bed. Like I can't. Look, I could make a motherfucking show at 5 a.m. Like you niggas need to wake up. Like what I'm supposed to be an alarm clock. I'm a timer every day telling niggas what they need to be doing at time T1. Get up, nigga. GZ said get up and move. 7 o'clock. Time to eat, motherfucker. You better not be eating them sugary drinks. Better not be eating no Pop-Tarts. Only whole grains. What? Are you sleeping on the job? You better work. You better be extra productive, motherfucker. I'm thinking you got an internal motivator, you know, like through your own inner workings of the machinations of your mind. I'm like, why do I have to fucking motivate you to improve or to be productive?
But again, at what point are we sure they envelop that internal motivation? That's a character flaw. Look, I'm one who got 3 gym memberships and then pay a trainer to train me at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's part of the solution. I mean, that's part of now I don't need that. Okay. I don't need anybody to motivate me to, you know, or to teach me how to, you know, work out. But if I had the ability to get a trainer, I probably would get one, you know, so I don't have to think so much. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But how many people are going to say, okay, I want to know how to power clean properly. I want to know how to deadlift properly. I've been lifting for 20 years. I'm not just going to keep lifting. Now I'm going to get me a trainer. I'm going to spend thousands of dollars on a trainer to take myself to the next level. Some people just keep lifting wrong, hurt themselves, and you know end up out of the gym.
Well, they don't know
what they
don't know though.
They don't at different levels. Everybody's at different levels. You know what I'm saying? When I go to the gym, I'm headphones in. I don't need to talk to nobody and see them. I'm 45 minutes in and out. I got a 15-minute warm up. I got everything calisthenics, everything all planned out. I know what I'm gonna do. If somebody's in my way, I know how to adjust. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even come in for that. They just there because they got the deal.
Yeah, see me, like, I learned how to work out, man, by working out, unfortunately, you know, with jail niggas type shit. You know what I'm saying? Chest, back, shoulders, legs, arms. In that order. Now, if you want to do shoulders and, chest and back on the same day and shoulders and legs and then do arms on Friday, cool, superset. But I know how to get it in. Now, but I'm 50. I'm not going to lift like I'm 30.
Mm-hmm.
Because my joints are different, man. Like, I know my age and my limits. I'm not going to try to lift the gym anymore. Now, I will do more calisthenics. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though motherfuckers critique me doing pull-ups, I did a short video and I was doing pull-ups. Motherfuckers like, well, you know, you ain't doing all the way. You ain't extending all the way. I'm like, nigga, let me see you do something. Let me see you do something, motherfucker. Let me see you do 5 of them bitches. Now I'm going to do a video where I'm doing at least 5 to 6 slow-ass pull-ups. Slow ones. Where each pull-up at least about 5 seconds.
Yeah, you have to get that burn in slow.
bro, like I'm not the strongest man in the world. All I'm saying is if you don't move at all, you lose your muscle mass when you get older.
Right.
Yep.
Now, GG, it's all
Absolutely.
perspective, man. Because I saw that video, and what I saw was that you were doing pull-ups on a, I think it was a door handle. You weren't doing pull-ups on in the goddamn gym, so you can't get full extension when you gonna hit your head on the ceiling. Like, damn, niggas, what y'all want?
Man, look, and then I'm 6'3". I got my legs. I'm like, damn, with my knees, you want my knees to drag on the floor, motherfucker?
Exactly.
But like, look, I could have a full. But one thing I noticed, man, look, all money is good money. Halfies is good. Holes is good. Like this whole, like, look at the motherfuckers who work out on YouTube and see what they say about like short range, full range of motion and all that. Look and see.
Yeah,
This
you
ain't, I'm not, this ain't motherfucker, I ain't in the
complete.
Marine Corps.
Well, I mean, motherfuckers just gonna complain about everything. Like, I gotta inspire FT2 in the crib. And motherfuckers is like, oh, you should be doing free weights. That Smith machine ain't gonna do shit. I'm like, motherfucker, it goes up to 360 pounds. Now, what's the difference between 360 pounds on a Smith machine and 290 pounds free weight? Nigga, weight is weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, resistance is resistance. The only thing I'll say about the Smith machine is that it does restrict your range of motion, but like resistance is resistance. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, man, look, my whole thing is this, man. I think that if black men want to talk about real shit that really is like germane and relevant to their lives, I'll say, yeah, like women is a part of it. And like being psychologically healthy is, and having well-being is a part of it. But the number one killer for black men is what? What kills black men more than any other thing?
Heart disease, hypertension.
That's it. There you go.
Stress.
Yeah.
Heart disease is the number one killer of black men. The leading causes of death for black men: heart disease, cancer, unintentional injuries like car accidents, drug overdoses, strokes, and diabetes, in that order. Heart disease, cancer, unintentional injuries, stroke, diabetes. Now, the reason I haven't included homicide is because that's not the number one cause of death for black men. It's the number one cause of black males between the ages of 13 and 35, but it's not the number one killer of all men across all age ranges.
Mm-hmm.
But heart disease is the number one. What did Kevin Samuels die of?
Yep, heart disease.
Right.
Lung cancer and prostate cancer is how black men die. We smoke too much, smoking Cools and Newports and shit, and Black and Miles, and our dicks, we ain't getting that, our prostates checked out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just like, if you want to talk about improving the longevity of men's lives, black men's lives, that's the shit. And if you want to deal with heart disease, you got to deal with diet.
Well, I was just about to say that, Gigi. There's a black guy, young black man here named Dr. Bobby Price. He's here in Atlanta, and he's got a ton of videos on YouTube talking about the gut and talking about how your diet, when you're talking about hypertension, most hypertension is actually caused by the gut. It's caused by your diet.
I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen this.
And
this
the diabetes and the heart disease go hand in hand with the diabetes. Yeah, the diabetes and the hypertension go hand in hand with the diet. So I would say the diet is actually number one because the diet causes the other two.
But you know what niggas do though, right?
They hit the gym. They hit the gym and then they go fucking eat 20 fucking hamburgers and talk about I'm getting protein.
Hey man, have you seen that video with this motherfucker like mama? You ain't never seen the videos, mama? No. I sat down and I put some butter in the skillet and I threw a little onions in there and, I put a little something in here and let me show you this shit. And it's a heart attack waiting to happen, man. Mama. Cooking, hold on. YouTube. Let me find this shit, man. I can't see no images of this shit. I don't want it's some white chick and shit. But it's just a black dude, he always saying mama.
Polo Wang.
Mama.
Polo. They said the chat says the guy's name is Polo Wang.
Polo Wang?
Pollo Wang. Yeah.
Polo Wang.
Wang. Wang.
Polo Wang. That might be him. That might be this motherfucker. There he is. Look. And look. This shit is, bro, no disrespect. I like his shit because I'm glad that, it's a black man making money, on the YouTube format. Kudos to him for doing that shit. But the shit that we eating is a heart attack waiting to happen, bro. You see this shit? You see this?
Share the screen. We don't see it.
You don't see it? You don't see that?
No, we still see you.
Bro, you don't see that shit? I'm seeing it on stream.
Yeah, we see it.
Oh, okay. I see it on StreamYard. I'm sorry. Yeah, but it's not on YouTube yet.
Out late the other night, and while we was out, we was hungry, and the only thing that was open was one of those 24-hour breakfast restaurants. So we decided we was gonna stop by there and get us something to eat. And when we got there, we sat down at a booth and we was reading the menu.
I don't want to play all this shit because I don't want to incur no strike. You know what I'm saying? But
there's a lot of meat.
I'll check it out later.
It's like the shit that they asking us to eat, man. And it's another dude on here that also has a show where damn, why is this motherfucker like not clicking on nothing right now? It's fucking pissing me off. It's just getting my goat right here, bro. You see that? Oh yeah, you see Polo Wang. Won't let me click nothing, man. What the fuck is that about? Stop sharing, man. But anyway, you get the picture, right? I mean, so
yeah.
the whole thing is, man, soul food is killing us, man. Soul food is killing us.
Yeah.
Oil, all that saturated fat shit, sugar and shit is killing us.
Yep.
We got the poorest diet. But I mean, like, heart disease is the number one killer of people everywhere, though. All across the world, it's the number one killer. Okay? But there are some people in some cultures who have less heart disease than others, and then you can look to them and say, okay, well, like, what does their diet primarily consist of, and why do they have less incidences of heart disease than others? You know what I'm saying? Like, the Mediterranean diet is one example. Asians and, like some Japan and what they eat, like, we would consider it disgusting, though.
That's that cultural thing, man. Like the gym. Like, if it wasn't for sports, athletics, and me being in the realm of where I need to be fit, I wouldn't know about none of that. My parents didn't care about no grilled chicken. I had to bring that to them that I want to eat it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, your parents was eating different type of chicken, though. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Very true, very true. But
that was real chicken. That was the ain't the chicken we eat nowadays.
Maintain a healthy diet, exercise regularly, maintain a healthy weight, stop smoking, limit your alcohol intake, control your cholesterol, manage your blood pressure, try to control for your diabetes, try to manage stress, and go to the doctor on a regular basis. But you can't get men to do that shit.
Yeah, most of us don't learn it
I mean,
later
but
on in life.
A lot of people don't even, when it comes to stress, a lot of people don't even know they stress.
Yeah, you're right about that. And black people have a lot of external sources of stress.
Yeah.
A lot. There's a lot of things that cause us to have our fucking blood pressure high as a motherfucker. Because just dealing with other black people is like taxing.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, it is.
And that's just starting with the family members.
Boy,
no, black. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They'll fuck you over in a minute, boy.
Well, I mean, let's get back on topic of this stream, though. Social media.
Man,
Look, Dr. Bobby Price did a video. He just talked about this the other day. He was talking about how adrenaline, he was talking about why people are fat. And he was just talking about stress and adrenaline and how adrenaline creates cortisol. So when you're getting chased by a bear, your adrenaline pumps up, but when you running from that bear, you work that cortisol off. But he said when you're stressed and you're looking at social media all day and your hormones are reacting like you're getting chased by a bear because you're seeing something online scrolling that's pissing you off, but you sitting in your bed or you sitting in your chair, you're not burning that off, and that causes you to store fat. It's deep.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, that stress. He's like, even being on social media, being stressed, that shit will actually cause you physically to store fat. So like a lot of motherfuckers on it. That's why I don't even be on this shit half the time. Like, I mean, I know you were kind of, I don't know if you thought I was trolling or whatever when I said, what is this stream about, or who's talking, who are we talking about? Because, bruh, when I picked up and got on the stream, I didn't even know who the fuck you were referring to. Like, who's coming at you? Because I don't even watch half the shit. Like, the beef, the YouTube beef and all that shit stresses you out.
It can. Like, my whole thing about it is, bro, like, at this point, I laugh at it, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, but it's still irritating to a certain degree. But you got to understand, man, like where you at with this shit and the scale and the scope of how important it is. And I think, look, I got 9,000 subscribers, man. Why would you even focus on me? I'm unimportant. I'm small. I'm a micro influencer. I'm not even a micro influencer yet. I don't even have 10,000 followers.
Got big ideas, GG.
Because you got more than them and they've been around longer than you.
Got big ideas, man.
Motherfuckers is fucking with me. They got like 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why is you bro? Why are you punching at me?
Because more people watch you than they watch them.
No, I don't know about that.
Man,
but,
numbers. It's a difference between. You just pulled up your demographics, GG. The numbers don't tell the demographics. And let's keep it 100. People like myself who are IT know that a lot of these people can go to certain services and pay for certain amount of motherfucking subscribers and likes. People don't like to talk about that shit. A lot of these likes and subscribers are fake.
Yeah, well, I got mine out the mud. You know what I'm saying, motherfuckers. Mine strictly out the mud. You know what I'm saying, motherfuckers be. They like me one day, the next day they like fuck GG. I'm like, okay, that's how you feel. I understand. But I'd rather do the slow burn and build up people who really actually watch my content than to get a whole bunch of people drawn to my shit, or like using bots or something, and then it's not really gonna be a catalyst for improvement or making anything better. You know what I'm saying, in terms of like my growth. So yeah. And look, I'm cool if I stay where I'm at. I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I be, of course, everybody has expectations that they can get larger than what they are. But you look, if growth is what you're about, then you're in the wrong sector of YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta look. Niggas want to see women, man. So if you ain't got women as a part of your normal everyday show, motherfuckers is not gonna watch what the fuck you doing, bro.
Yeah, that's just the reality.
That's just the truth, man.
You gotta talk about the fuck shit. That's just the reality.
And you got to do more than just talk about it. You have to have like really actual. You got to be engaged in conversations with women.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have commentary.
Like, and you need to really actually be. Well, YouTube is video based, so people want to see your face as well. Like they want to be able to empathize with you through your range of emotions. And like, I'm not saying that faceless channels aren't popular. There are many that are. But YouTube it's some iffy shit, bro. It's iffy, man. I think I got like short form videos that are better than some of the like motherfuckers that got like 30, 40, 50, 100,000 views, I think. But that's just my opinion. Obviously I ain't doing something right, so I just gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep doing it, man.
Well, you oscillate back and forth between the education and the social, like you said, because there's a lot of videos on YouTube that are faceless, but they're educational. I mean, most of the YouTube that I watch is like history shit. Like I watch Armchair Historian and vlogging through history and extra credits and what's the other one I like? Oversimplified. Like I like history shit that the content creator, you don't never see their face, but you learn something.
That's what I need to start doing more of that shit.
I like those too.
So two videos a week, man. I'm gonna start doing short form content. And then I'm gonna turn each one of those into shorts, at least because I think if you do short form content and you create chapters with your videos, you can create like at least about, if you do an 8-minute video or a 7-minute video, you should at least be able to squeeze 5 shorts out of each video if they're organized into chapters. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so, Gigi, if I could, I would suggest.
I never thought about that, but that sounds interesting.
Yeah, as a doctor of philosophy, man, if you find educational philosophy videos that you can do added content you can do reaction videos because one of the biggest channels that I follow is a guy named Vlogging Through History, and he's a history teacher, and he does reaction videos to history videos and just does added commentary to fill in the gaps. Like
Yeah, I might
some of
consider
the
that,
stuff.
man.
Yeah, like I mean, you would have valuable information that you can add in the gaps doing reaction videos. And just
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Stay the red man of the YouTube, man. You don't like a lot of people like, oh, we want 1,000 videos, but just like Red Man would say, he was like, man, it's about that gold, it's about that 500. He
About
was
that
like the
paper.
platinum and the diamond and the triple platinum. He was like, nah. He was like, if I keep my hip hop pure and I hit that gold record, that's what I like. So shit, man, yeah.
Hey,
Be
I get it,
organic out
man.
the
You know,
mud, man.
like the only thing I think is, man, like, I'm having fun with what I'm doing, man. I know some people don't like it, man. To those haters, man, I say, man, kick rocks, man. Just don't consume it. Just keep pushing, bro. But I want to expand and do more. But it's time consuming to edit videos, bro. The shit is just.
Oh yes.
It just takes a lot of time, and
you gotta render that sucker. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like, I can give people I would just be honest. Like when I first came into YouTube, man, everybody was doing nothing but fucking like StreamYard. That was it. No intros, no none of that shit. Like I came in, my first intro was some goofy shit. Like this is what I was doing when I first came. Let me make myself a little bit bigger. I said, you know what? Let me. It's goofy, but this is what I said. This is the shit I'm gonna do. So I started doing this shit right here. What's up, man? I'm TG. That's my shit. That's how I used to open up.
Hey, it's creative.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that.
No,
and,
I went creative.
But then I went from that. I said, okay, well, I need some different shit. So I went from that to this shit.
I don't see anything wrong with that either.
I don't see nothing wrong with it either. And then I had little commercials and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, have fun with it, man. That's all I'm saying. Like, be creative in some way. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is, man. I just decided let me be to some degree creative with the content that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with the shit. Do something more than just like, hey, what's up, y'all? I'm waiting for people to filter in. But I didn't see anybody hardly. The only other motherfucker I saw actually doing some shit to me that was like, that I was kind of doing was Angry Man. And he was doing it before I was doing it, of course. But I mean, he always had like intros and themes and shit like that going on. But I'm surprised more people in the Manosphere just don't use OBS and shit like that. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Because it's free. You don't have to pay for the shit. And it's not. It
almost operates like paid software, but yeah.
It's not intuitive to use, but I mean, it's not impossible to use. Like if I was to, I'm not gonna show you how to use it. You gotta learn how to do this shit on your own. But like my whole thing is, bro, the shit is not that difficult, bro. You see this? Hold on, let me make sure. Let me make it bigger. Hold on, that's not making it bigger. It's powerful software right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I can go to an effect. I got so much shit. I don't even use half the shit I got. You know what I'm saying? Like I could be like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's funny. You know what I'm saying? Right answer.
Yeah, I got different screens and stuff too. Got my stuff
Wrong
set up.
answer. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I can do that shit with the push of a button. You know what I'm saying? Or like, you got memes, like I could be like, if a motherfucker mad at me, I'm be like,
argue with you?
Mm-hmm.
No. You mad. Look at you. You mad. You big mad.
It's OBS, man. You can put any scenes. You can have like a multiplicity of scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like a whole bunch of different shit in it. You know, like
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Introducing Ion Fast, the revolutionary fat burn that's changing the game in weight management. Say goodbye to slow progress and hello to a powerful.
All you doing is creating
natural
scenes and adding content to put in the scenes, bro. Like I don't know why niggas is not doing it, bro. I don't get it, but that's it is what it is, bro.
GG, you just did the one with the talking about the intimate partner violence, where you pulled up. Who was it that I forget? You were talking about the show. There was a show where a gentleman mentioned it, and then you went and did the research. But that's,
It's about a black woman who can't
basically you
walk
could
down
do
the
those as
street
reaction
and say,
videos.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Instead of-
bro. All
yeah.
I'm saying is, like, I got so many. Like, if I want to do a reaction video, I got like this my little reaction format. This is what I do for the short bus. Got a guy holding a cell phone.
I don't chase booty.
Go ahead, brother.
I'm not gonna
If
show
I
the
got
shit
to
right
chase
now. But
my wife, then I'm gonna have to keep chasing her to keep her.
That's right.
I wonder what church that motherfucker at. I'd like to attend his church one day. He's like, I don't chase
Oh,
booty.
really?
The rest of these cats like, you need to marry these good sisters. We know they hoes and scallywags, but you need to marry them nonetheless. But my whole thing is like, okay, use this shit, man. The shit exists. StreamYard is cool, but it limits you. There's only so much you can do with StreamYard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I was showing my face, I have a whole lot of shit going, motherfucker. You can do cameras, close-ups, getting closer and closer in, moving away and shit like that. Just little different tactics and techniques. A lot of you know who really uses OBS? Video gamers and shit, bro.
Yes.
Motherfuckers, playing video games, they be using OBS, nigga, like it ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? And it works for them. You know what I mean? And like the layouts and shit that I got, overlays and shit, like all the shit going on in the background, that's not StreamYard. That's fucking like Stream Elements. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to Stream Elements, you could get overlays and shit. It's free. It don't even cost shit. So I'm wondering like why guys not interpolating this into their shit to give it more, like I know I'm faceless, so my whole thing is, and I like that shit right there, Al. That look dope. That kind of cartoon type shit. Pencil shit. But like, I'm wondering why guys aren't interpolating more elements into their streams to make it look more dynamic. You know what I'm saying? So even this main scene right here, you see me in this place a lot. It's set up like StreamYard. But I got more going on there. You got the voice, like the waveform going on underneath so you know I'm talking. You got the ticker going on at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like if people hit me up and give me chats, you'll see Michael Jackson dance and shit like that. Just different little silly shit to keep a motherfucker somewhat, aroused and stimulated. Because you know how,
Right.
people, if they don't have any stimulation, they leave it.
Yeah, I think that's when you see a lot of these live streamers, even when they have their setup, they always have something moving. Like even when KS, he had his little spinning thing.
Yeah, like the little thing on his desk.
Yeah. And a lot of guys have something. You have something moving, constantly moving to kind of keep that energy.
But
Yeah,
GG,
so-
question: what brings you to the moment of creating and thinking of that? You know what I'm saying? Most guys can't do that. I'm
Do
not gonna
what?
say what most guys can't do. You have an idea that, okay, I'm going to use this software for this. I'm going to play around with this software. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid who took toys apart, so I'm interested in learning how to put a mold together. Because when I was 13 years old, I took one apart without not having to nobody do it. You know what I'm saying? And nobody had to instruct me to do that. But
Well,
a lot of people not doing that.
Sometimes, yeah, but here's the thing. Sometimes, like what I'm doing right now, you just have to do it and see what happens.
I agree, but that's my point. How many people just do it?
That's,
How
I
many
mean, you
men just
kind of
do
like,
it?
like I don't know. I don't even know. I think AB is 3D modeling right now. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, Like, what program is that you're using right now, AB?
Blender.
Okay.
It's
So
open source and free.
man, so he's creating 3D models and images and shit. Like you can make logos, lettering, all kind of shit. You can make like characters. You know what I'm saying?
Animation.
Like, yeah. Like, I mean, if you want to learn how to do it, you learn from YouTube. Like all the shit that I learned, I wanted to learn how to do, I learned from YouTube, straight up.
Right. But that's my point. You wanted to learn how to do it. Like the things you guys mentioned, this OBS, this I forget what this drafting program you're doing. This is all stuff I'm introduced to my son. It's not anything that I have any use for. I'm in finance and accounting. You know, I'm looking at tools that's in a whole different sector than this. You know what I'm saying? So I study those things because they're what I want and need for my job.
Right. But see, like before I became active on YouTube and doing streams and shit like that, like I can interpolate this shit into a classroom teaching, like environment if I wanted to. I couldn't do that like 4 years ago.
Right.
I can do it now. You know what I'm saying? Like I can create course content and have people participate in a private setting, like through StreamYard or some shit. And it's way better than like, what I would have been able to do before. It's just it just is what it is. Like learning how to do things, but you got to have you got to be inquisitive and creative, man.
Right, and that's the point. A lot of people we talk to, man, everybody invited to this space, but they ain't qualified to be inquisitive and creative. Like I said, I took things. I was in my father had a garage full of tools. You didn't have to tell me nothing about what worked. I just went and figured it out. How many guys did that?
Yeah, that's true. And when I was young, the shit I used to do, I was a musician as a kid. I started off DJing and I learned how to make music. You know what I'm saying? Like the songs you hear me do, like that SBE shit, I made that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I ain't played the guitar, but it's like loops and samples and shit you can get and put them together. You know what I'm saying? And add bass and drums and shit. Like, this shit is simple to do, man. It's not that difficult, man.
Yeah, we need some more lo-fi too.
And some shit I can, like I can play. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you something. Like I'll play a jam. Like I've already shown you. Y'all all like everybody here should already have some access to me having done this before. But let me see. Let me cancel that.
Oh, when you played it on the keyboard?
Yeah, man. I'll play a jazz joint on a motherfucking keyboard. Like check it out. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can find that shit. Videos. I don't know if it's a short video. I don't know what it is. Let me see, video.
The one you did a few weeks back?
No, it ain't. No, this ain't. I did this over a year ago. Had to be a year ago. Let me see if I can find it though. We got a Fizzine. There it is, right there. I say yes, you can play. Yes, you can play great sound and music on a QWERTY keyboard.
Yeah, I thought that you put that up.
Let me show it. Let me see. I'm gonna show this. Let me see. Broadcast, present, share the screen. Yes, you can play. Boom. Can you see that? Hold on, it ain't there yet. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So this is me playing like with the QWERTY keyboard. Like you can set up FL Studio to do that shit.
Yeah, this is the one I remember you doing.
Nice.
What program is that again?
Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops.
Yeah, so I mean, that shit is fun to me. I can do that shit for hours, bro. I'm just saying, like, I can do that shit for hours, bro. Like, because it stimulates me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fun to me. It's not like I'm exerting effort when I'm doing it. It's like I'm, you know what they call you, like having Zen moments and shit, or you like, you kind of like losing yourself in the activity. That's what happens to me when I do shit like that.
Yeah, I can feel you. I get like that with like everything y'all showing me, man. I'm writing down as a note for my kid because I get like that with my kid now. Like, what can I show him? You know, it's fun for me to see
Yeah,
what he can
you
pick up.
can get I'll put it in the back chat. You can get the software from blender.org. Just download
What
it.
you making
It's a
some
free
sort of
program.
aerial type joint, man? Plane type shit?
Yeah, airplane, starship.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to fuck with Blender because I want to make like model. I want to do 3D modeling and shit, but I've never like it's something I've never got into, but I would like to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Does
it's
that
not easy. I
does
can
that
tell you.
blender work
I
with
can
3D
tell you.
printing?
Yes, it does. I haven't tried it, but it does work with 3D printers.
Nice.
Yeah, but if as long as they got
That's some
tutorials
shit
on
I
how to do
always wanted to
basic
get
shit,
into.
yeah, but
Oh yeah,
you
on
can't
YouTube
get
and
it. You
stuff.
can't
Yeah.
learn anything if you don't start doing it. That's the whole point. You gotta start. Even if you fail at doing it, like
Yeah.
like I'm gonna tell you, like I do my little music and shit on FL Studio, so I can show you. Like let me see. Present. First of all, I would have to include myself into this shit. Let me see here.
That's
That's
another
another
instance
instance
of
of
myself.
myself. Damn, is it doubling up? My voice doubling up?
A little bit.
Let me see here. Let me share the screen.
Got a little bit of reverb in there.
Yeah, I know.
That's all right. You got to layer the vocals, man. So you talking to somebody in the previous life who was a Digidesign Pro Tools certified engineer, bro. I was an intern at Stankonia. Look, I put the fucking tools on them back in the day.
I feel you, man. Hey, I can't be mad at you.
Yeah.
Can't be mad. So let me see. This motherfucker actually came on. So let me see, share the screen. Window. FL Studio.
Oh, you pulling up on another? Okay, I see what you did.
Yeah. You see that?
Yeah, Blender also does animation.
So I got like all my shit separated. I don't even know if you can hear anything. No, it ain't, the audio ain't coming through. Did you hear that? But anyway.
No, go ahead and play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything to play.
Okay.
This is what I recently did. Let me see. Slavery in the North. No. I probably would have to do this. Let me see. But it's just, I know we bullshitting right now. We kind of just chewing the fat, but I love this shit. This is how I do my little videos. I started doing everything in FL Studio. Just taking a sweet little time. You can't hear that, can you?
No.
Let me see. Stop sharing. Let me see. Present. Share the screen. It's saying share audio. I guess it would have to be. I'm not going to even stress the shit, but I would have to figure out. I know how to do it, but I'm not going to go through all that shit right now. But fucking with FL Studio, man, it's some cool shit. I really like fucking with it, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I do all my audio. I can blend shit in, turn shit up, turn shit down, make sure it's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Put other music in it. Put a compressor on it. Make sure I do audio ducking, all that shit. Fuck with it.
Yeah, I know that FL Studio. A lot of cats is into that real heavy nowadays.
I never did like it though. I never did like. Let me see. Stop sharing the screen. Let me take this other instance of me out. Yeah, I never did like FL Studio though. I thought it was some bullshit. I'm like, man, fuck FL Studio.
Well, it used to be. Back what they call it FL Studio now. Back when I learned how to audio engineer, it was called Fruity Loops.
No, I never.
I used to fuck with the Pro Tools, and I used to use Reason if I was doing anything
Propeller
in the
Head,
box.
man, was my shit.
Was that
Reason? Propeller Head Reasons.
Yeah, I used Reason, and then everything else I did out of the box. I had a motif. I still got my motif rack. I got I still got my Technique 1200s and all my wax and shit. But that FL Studio, man, they really buffed it up though. It's strong now.
Yeah, so I only started using FL Studio 2-3 years ago. Like I never used it before, but I love it now. But Propeller Head Reason was the shit I used to use. Yeah, I had a Motu MIDI, audio interface and shit. 8 ins, 8 outs. I had a Planet Fat JV1080 rolling. I had MPC 2000 XL.
That's what I had. The 2000 XL, the blue one. You had the blue one?
No, I had it was a white face. You know what I'm saying?
White one. Okay.
But cream colored type shit. But it was
the old school.
Yeah.
Color.
So it had the floppy drive. But I hooked up a little SCSI port to it and shit. Little hard drive that could hold like a gig plus. Because the floppies are unreliable. So I wanted to get something that was more, because ain't nothing worse than fucking going to a session and you putting your shit in the floppy drive and the motherfucker say disk error.
Yeah.
That brings back horror.
Yeah, that shit used to piss me off. So I got to using.
Fortunately, these kids don't even know what a floppy drive is.
I used to use them jazz drives. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were slow
drives.
though.
Yeah. Did you ever see the zip drives that they came out with?
Yeah,
the zip and the jazz. It's the same thing. Pretty much
the same company make the zip and the drive. The jazz, but like the zip was 100 megabytes, I think, and the jazz is like a gig.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
then everybody came out with a flash drive, and
But I mean, hey man, all I can say is music. I had ADAT machines and shit like that. I had 2 ADAT machines. I sold them bitches, got rid of them because I knew the technology was changing on that quick. Then I got like a digital audio workstation with 24 tracks and shit, and it had maybe 100 gigs of hard drive space, man. So I was like, shit, that's cool right there. I can record vocals. I can use effects and shit. It's got built-in effects and shit. I can put buses of effects in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was easy to use. You know what I'm saying? Like and record. So
right.
But now, man, fuck. Just young, trying to be creative and shit. But like, you can see how it works in a setting like this, because you got better sounding audio than like most people in the space. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't saying I got the best audio, but I think my audio sound clean as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So it's about, man, making your shit as clean as possible, man. That's all I try to do. But I love Propeller. Actually, I want to upgrade to Propeller Head 10, like Reason 10, I think is out right now. Or I forget which version is out. Let me see whatever it is, I want the newest version of it, because you can now use it as a plug-in. You know what I'm saying? And start using like they shit in FL Studio. Or you can
could. Well, yeah, I don't know about FL Studio, but Reason was always you could always plug it into Pro Tools.
Yeah, but see, that's just Pro Tools though. Yeah, that's Pro Tools though. But it's different. Like say for example, I want to use a combinator in FL Studio, or I want to use the Kong drum machine in FL Studio. You can't do that. You might be able to do that shit in Pro Tools, but you can't do that shit in FL Studio. Especially, I think I forget what version it was when they started to allow for or permit for using virtual instruments and shit on their platform. It just, I forget what version the Reasons started to allow or permit for it, but what I used to do, I never used Pro Tools. I just used Reason to record vocals and shit. And it never taxed my system, bro.
Yeah, it's so light. It's so light.
Never, like FL Studio taxes the shit out of your system.
Yeah.
This Propeller Head, man, I had tons and tons of MIDI shit going on, audio shit going on, and it never hiccuped.
Yeah.
And that's what I really like about it. I appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? But I used to be on them Wheels of Steel, them 1200s too. I had two 12s, a Newmark 1700 TX mixer, you know what I'm saying? A PVCS 1000 amp, 2 PV SP2s, you know what I'm saying? I had a Black Widow speaker with 2 motherfucking 18s in it. Man, I used to, be bumping gymnasiums with that shit. I ain't bullshitting, boy. Like, when it comes to the party, I'm the man, boy. I'm talking about entire motherfucking, like, halls and shit, banging that shit. Motherfuckers like, that girl is poison. Back in the day, baby. You know what I'm saying? But shit. That shit seemed like a lifetime ago, man.
Look, that shit, yeah. You look at these DJs nowadays, they got them little ass things and they got one little fucking laptop. I be like, man, y'all niggas ain't spinning shit. I used to walk through with crates.
Boy, them motherfuckers used to break my back, man.
Look, I ain't had to hit the gym, but I was looking around them big ass 1210s in that coffin and about 8 crates.
Man, I had 2 coffins for my 12s, and I had a coffin for the mixer, you know what I'm saying? So it was like a 3-boy. You know what I'm saying? But them shit heavy, man. Them motherfucking 1200s heavy. And the flight case is heavy and shit. You know what I'm saying? I had carpet flight cases, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And man, that motherfucking that amp, man, that CS1000, that motherfucker is heavy as shit. That shit at least gotta be about 80, 90 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So and that shit has to be industrial because you moving it and carting it around.
Moving it every day.
And but them records, man, I had about, man, like every jam I did, you gotta have your whole collection just in case you missing the one record type shit. You know what I'm saying? So 5, 6 milk crates of records and shit. I'm like, man, it's too much shit. Nowadays, like you said,
that's a reason. Let me see.
Man, I never did. I never did make the adjustment to the virtual DJing. I never did, man.
A lot of people, well, everything's getting smaller now. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of these $1,000 phones. I usually didn't think this, but I know it now. They're actually worth $1,000 because they're literally small PCs.
Yeah. I mean, I've looked at them. You know what I'm saying? I've always had my eyeball on it, but to me, DJing was dead. Like I DJ'd in New Orleans, man. There's always some shit going on in New Orleans. You got Xavier University, you got Dillard University, you got SUNO, you got Delgado Community College, you got Loyola, Tulane. It's frats in every fucking university, black ones, white ones and shit. Now, white people didn't really hire me, but like some white motherfuckers heard me DJing. They was like, hey, man, this kid, boy, I've never heard mixing sound that smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you come fuck with us so we, to get into this production shit? And I didn't know anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So they was putting me in front of Ensoniq keyboards and shit. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, man. Like,
right. All I know is wax and needle, man.
Yeah, like I don't know, like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? But like,
that's the thing about black men. That's the thing about black men. We learn how to make stuff work.
Well, if you gotta have the shit to make it work, you can't just be in front of a bunch of white boys and they ain't even doing the shit. They just like here, like motherfucker, I don't know how to use this shit. Show me how to use it, or let's do something creatively together. You know what I'm saying? But,
Well, I never. Yeah, I faded out just because the digital stuff just wasn't responsive. I'm sure now it's a lot better, but just the feel of the record in my, the spin back and the scratching and the mixing, that CD shit just didn't. You would spin it back and it had a little lag in it, and you couldn't really just mix, you know what I'm saying? But then they came out with the joint where you could use your 1210s and you had the one orange record that you could use for your control and then put on the laptop. That shit was a little bit better, man. But when it was just like that CD shit, I'm like, I'm trying to hit my backspin and get my cuts, and I'm like, yo, this shit ain't cutting right. Like,
by the time niggas started doing that, I was already out of the game, man. And the reason I got out of the game is because I moved back to St. Louis, and you only got one college in that motherfucker, 2, WashU and SLU. And they ain't throwing no motherfucking jammy jams at them motherfuckers. They like a whole bunch of nerds and shit. Like it was just whack. You know what I'm saying? We end up DJing a whole bunch of wedding receptions and shit. I'm like, man, this shit is terrible, man. You know what I'm saying?
Gigi, I'm about to bounce. It's always a pleasure.
Peace out, man.
All right, man. Peace.
Y'all be good, man. I'm about to bounce too, man. It's 3 hours and 30 minutes, man.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock.
But yeah, man. I mean, I had fun. It was fun, man, as a kid. Go ahead, Chaos.
It's funny. I know that someone will come on many spaces and then try to, I guess, express their frustration on what other black men are doing. I mean, I just don't have the time to do so. I mean, if you have an argument with another man about what he does, and then you're trying to push a different alternative, I would say to most of them, it's better off you just continue doing your own thing, do your own content. I mean, everybody has a crowd for a reason. If the whole premise, especially YouTube, is to get the eyeballs and entertain and solve problems, nothing more, nothing less. How this thing works, and the algorithm is very much always changing. if you cannot maintain or get the eyeballs to the crowd you need, then like, well, obviously you have to do something different. You know, I think the argument that's being laid out to what you do or what other brothers do, the other men have opposition. I mean, I have no problem with, but really, come on, man. I mean, I know one dude you had up here earlier came up here and he has issue with BGS, but really, it's a waste of time. You get me? BGS is gonna be BGS at the end of the day, just like everybody else that does content.
Yeah, people are gonna be who they are, and you know, I know motherfuckers, you know, stones or rocks get thrown around or whatever the case may be, but like, come on, man, like at the end of the day, if your whole platform is just based on throwing and hurling shit and mudslinging, like, what does that say about your platform? I just think it's a trash platform. Like at the end of the day, like I don't have to continuously go back and forth hurling insults at motherfuckers in order to prove that I'm somehow manly. That to me, that's not manly to me. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Yeah.
Demonstrating how superlative I am than the other motherfucker, that's not manly to me. That's just asshole shit passing off as manly shit. I don't agree with it.
Well, I don't. My thing is, I don't think these people actually have conviction in their own message, because, you know, if you really feel like, I'm not taking real shots at the guy, but if he really feels like the Manosphere can be greater and it can be this, that, and the third, then why are you competing for the numbers in the space so hard? Like, do you really believe that the space is not going to grow? That you need to come attack somebody or try to steal somebody else's audience? Because the way that I look at it, the brothers, we always say, it's a female turning 18 every day, so we don't have to compete. But at the same time, it's brothers turning 18 every day. The audience is going to grow if you have a true message. So why do you need to, poach other people's audiences? I don't get that.
I don't get it either, bro. I'm just gonna keep it a buck, man. At the end of the day, man, I came into the space expecting brotherhood and camaraderie and people to be civil and like to operate with a code of honor, and then it just became a whole bunch of niggas just bantering and bickering about bullshit. I'm like, come on, man. Like, that's what y'all about, bro? That's what you on? To me, it's like high school shit. Like, I didn't come online to talk to 40-year-old men going back and forth about, you're not really a man. Oh, well, I am a man. Well, no, you're not a man. And well, a man. I'm like, fucking silly ass shit, man. This shit is stupid as a motherfucker to me, man. Like, I'm pretty sure you don't like me, okay, so you don't like me. Don't watch me. Don't fuck with me. Don't deal with me. It's just really that simple. It don't take the fuck. This ain't rocket science, man. You don't like some shit, you don't consume it. Don't fucking entertain it. But the problem is you got motherfuckers competing for what they consider to be eyeballs that should be theirs. Just like you said. Fuck you. What the fuck you worried about somebody else, what they doing? Stop pocket watching other motherfuckers, man, and do you. It's just really that simple. Stop pocket watching other motherfuckers and do your shit. Do your own shit.
We just gonna be simple, pocket watching. I'm watching your pockets. Look at all these super chats. I'm watching your pockets.
That's what it be like, man. I'm gonna start hiding super chats, man. Fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? So but then even if you do hide them, you still gotta give acknowledgement to the people who fucking gave you the shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to deny them, their acknowledgement. So motherfuckers still gonna be tallying that shit up. Like, that nigga made what? And this is the chilling circuit of the YouTube, whole architecture. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is small peanuts, bro.
But it's not, GG. That's look. At the end of the day, it's just like you said earlier. They don't respect your gangster. They don't respect your doctorate. So they think that you on equal ground as them. So if you making this money and got this audience, they wondering like, why not me?
I think that's the problem. I think they do they either respect it or kind of fear it a little bit. It's like, who are you? It's that anti-intellectualism. You don't, like who is he? Just because he got a piece of paper, he's able to speak on what, and then since YouTube is an open platform, they're open to attack.
I'm cool with it. Look, I've never told anybody to kiss my ass because I got a PhD. I've never told you you gotta like I mean, every now and then I'll flex, but like, come on, man. Like, really, man. Like, do you hear me on this motherfucker? Like, I'm being arrogant and like off-putting to people.
No, but
But,
that's
but
what
they
makes it off
are.
base.
But they
You
are,
know,
GG. A lot of these guys don't respect their own fucking audience. They think we a bunch of niggas that or people who are not intellectual listening to intellectual, and then they like, why y'all listening to him? Y'all not only is he ain't all that, but y'all niggas ain't all. Y'all niggas think that y'all listening to him and get something, and then motherfuckers coming in like, y'all niggas in the manosphere are capping. Ain't nobody making six figures. Blah blah blah. Y'all capping. It's just like, no, motherfuckers, we are out here doing it, and we are here listening to somebody else who's doing it, trying to learn some shit.
but
But
I think that's my bad. I think that's one of those right. I always kind of critique us on the men's side a little bit when we take some of this social warfare stuff too seriously. Like there's
yeah,
just aspects of, if I can slander somebody and take them down, if me slandering somebody by flapping my lips and I don't have to spend no money to flap my lips, if I'm able to knock off 10,000 off your net profit, why not do it? You know, like it's just part of, it's just part of the warfare thing, like I applaud the SBE song you made, I applaud some of that biting, some of that small. You don't have to go in there and go in the trenches with them, but just a little troll bite back, and then get back to your business. Just invest a little bit of bite back here. Here's what I'm going to drop on y'all, and then just move on. It's like how Tariq Nasheed, what he'll do is he'll clown somebody with a puppet show, you know. And it'd be like you
Crispy,
can't
crispy.
respond to a puppet show, like if you respond to it, you're going to sound like a clown, and you are being a clown in the first place. That's the whole point, you know.
Crispy, come on
So
now, Crispy. What are you doing here, Crispy? So I mean, look, you want to be on some old petty shit? I did some petty, goofy shit, and motherfuckers like it's hilarious. Okay, now I'm done with it, man. But certain guys feel like they have to respond because they can't suffer indignity in silence. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, bro. Go ahead and respond to it, man. Go ahead and expose me, man. Like for the true unproductive weak man that I am, man. Go ahead, bro. But I don't even if I just don't think motherfuckers get cool points for like demonstrating how weak other motherfuckers are anyway. What satisfaction do you get from demonstrating that a nigga is not on his game?
it's that Steve Harvey shit, man.
Man, that's some sucker shit to me if you ask me. Like, look, I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, look, it's one thing to encourage motherfuckers to be on their game. It's another thing to kick down and to throw, to hurl shit at people who are less fortunate than yourself. That's a whole different type of mode. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different mode. You know what I'm saying? Like some people out here just really have contempt and hate though in their hearts, man. That's on them, man. I just ain't got that much energy, man, to be giving motherfuckers for real. I'm
But I
hungry
mean,
as hell though. I'm about
like
to
you
eat me
said,
some motherfucking
some
about to
bitch.
eat me a
It's some bitch.
hamburger and sip
But
me
it's
some
some bitch shit.
sarsaparilla.
It's some bitch shit though. I mean, like I was saying earlier, it's a lot of guys that don't respect their own audience because maybe they don't even respect themselves. Like, you ever dated a chick with low self esteem and then she wondering why you trying to fuck her?
Yeah.
It's a lot of dudes like that. Like
Yeah.
niggas know they ain't shit, and then you try to give them props, and then they treat you like shit because they know that you really shouldn't be giving them props in the first place.
Right, that's true.
Look, a pimp will tell you that. A pimp will tell you don't fall in love with a whore because whore think she look. It's like that movie Fresh. You ever see that movie Fresh back in the day? Giancarlo Esposito and Sean Nelson.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And remember when Fresh was going to Giancarlo, trying to get his sister off the heroin, and his sister looked at him and said, fuck off, Michael. You asked me why I fuck with James. I don't want to fuck with Esteban because James know I'm a sorry ass nigga hoe, and James treat me like that, so I fucks with James. Esteban looking at me like I'm some kind of queen. It's a lot of niggas like that.
Yeah. That was my movie when I was young. That motherfucker came out. I was in college. Goddamn me, the '90s type shit.
94.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of guys and girls like that. Just like, I ain't nothing but a sorry nigga hoe. James treat me like that, so I'm down with James.
Yeah, I ain't never been like that though. I always had high hopes. High hopes. I ain't never been one of them type dudes. But you know, look, man. I think we've we've exhausted this conversation, man. We kind of rambling and back, you know. Like some dude, I had to X the motherfucker tonight talking about y'all babbling and shit. Okay. But why you even gotta even chat about it? Like, nigga, we babbling. What the fuck you here doing with us babbling, motherfucker?
We kicking it.
You know, it's just this, you know, motherfuckers be on their disrespectful bullshit. And this space, I don't know, it's just like social media spaces breed contempt and it breeds disrespect for some reason. I just ain't for it, man. So, anyway, man, y'all be peaceful, man. I will holler at you, motherfuckers.
Hey, this is a good show, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. If nobody told you today, thank you.
Oh, man, thank you, man. Appreciate it, bro.
All right.
All right, man. Y'all be easy, man. I'll holler at y'all on the next one. Peace.